throws, end zone. He's got Evans for the touchdown.
The presenting sponsor of Super Bowl 55 coverage from Tampa, Florida on SicEm365 Radio is Marco's Pizza. Pizza for pizza lovers with locations in Woodway, China Spring, and Belmead.
Here's Mahomes. Look at underhanded. He throws it for the touchdown. How about that throw?
Little underhand.
Also brought to you by IdealMRI.com, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, Waco Custom Marketplace, Boozer's Jewelers, Stonewood Dental, Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac.
Here's the fake toss. Able to get away and find Hill at the 35-30. Hill inside the 20.
Edward Jones Financial Advisors, Petty Clinic Low T, Pioneer Steel and Pipe, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, and Impact Health Labs.
Brady goes for the deep shot. He's got a touchdown! Scotty Miller!
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
All right, good afternoon from Tampa, Florida, inside the convention center just off the bay and right in front of the ice hockey arena, which is shielded by the various hotels, the Marriott, the JW Marriott, and much, much more. The Hyatt Regency had a chance today to kind of walk a little bit. Last night we went across one of the bridges to Jackson's Bistro to have dinner. Our great friend Eric Horton in town from Tyler Candle Company. In fact, you see the product that he always brings our way for us to pass along to other members of the media and also various guests that we have here on the desk that you see. In the background, our banner, thanks to W Promotion, Super Bowl 55 between the Chiefs, the defending champions, and of course the Buccaneers. And it's still hard for me to say not the New England Patriots because we got so used to saying that, Paul. They didn't win every one of the Super Bowls, but 9 times we saw them in the last 20 years, and here we are. And I said this to you a minute ago, is that sometimes this radio row, which is very much docile compared to any years in the past, but we're excited about being here, is that you forget there's a game going on. That this year, though, maybe it really is the focus of the week.
It's got to be. I mean, it is strange. You know, we were walking over to the JW Marriott, and you can tell that they're getting ready for the team hotels to be filled in the next couple of days. And I don't know are the Bucs going to stay in the team hotel? I mean, do you have to? I mean,
well,
is it something maybe you do? Maybe it's something you do the night before the game, just so you can.
Sometimes teams would stay at a hotel, and then the night before the game, they would move to a different hotel to even have more isolation. I don't know the story with that of what they'll do, the Chiefs and the Patriots, especially Chiefs and the Buccaneers. There's $1 every time, okay? Craig Smoak back at our studios at 101 Elm Avenue. Armstrong Sims running the mothership, and he did recover from yesterday. It's great to have him part of the show as well. We're loaded up today. And Craig, anything so far this week that has caught your attention much between the Chiefs and the Buccaneers in Super Bowl 55?
You know, I'd love to tell you yes, but quite frankly, no. There's not been a whole lot of the back and forth because there haven't been any media sessions. You know, whatever's taken place has taken place over, I assume, Zoom, and has been just available to everybody. Typically, you would have people in press conference rooms, and you'd have, you know, AT&T and all these other businesses would be holding press conferences, and they'd have NFL legends as spokespeople going on all day, and then you'd have the players themselves, and you'd have media night. We didn't have media night. You know, that's usually a big thing. That's NFL Network broadcast, and that was a no-go this year. So, you know, quite frankly, no. But because just there's nobody in town yet as far as the teams go, and the chatter has been relatively minimal, so it's been a very interesting lead-up and a far departure from what we're typically accustomed to.
Yeah, there's no question. The game Sunday, Tampa Bay hosting the Super Bowl. That's one of the storylines. No one's ever done that before, and it's interesting because the Bucs for many years were like the disaster. You know, the creamsicle uniforms, and as you mentioned, the old sombrero. And but hey, you know what? They're back and they're here and they're good. And I talked to Ira Kaufman. He's a longtime writer out of Tampa. He wrote for the Tampa Tribune. He does something now with Joe Buck when it comes to writing for his blog, and he's a Hall of Fame voter. And he talked about this, the city in Tampa and Brady, and how much they had to drop their egos. Charles Haley, by the way, will join us. 5-time Super Bowl champion will join us in just a little bit, and former Washington quarterback, 2-time Super Bowl champion, an MVP the last time Washington was even in the game in 1991 season. Mark Rippon will join us today, along with many other guests as well. But he was talking about how Bruce Arians, he's got an ego. He's a head coach. He's had success, and how he and Brady, when they were 7-5, they worked through what were some struggles, and in the end, they found a way to make it more Brady-friendly. Not because he's Tom Brady, but because he is Tom Brady.
I mean, you've got him for 3 years probably maximum. You got to maximize that, and look, the Bucs figured it out, and credit to all that for. Everybody kind of got out of the way, or like they just decided here was the thing that we need to do. We need to make sure that we maximize Tom Brady. We need to make sure that Tom gets on the same page. And I think maybe they probably wouldn't have struggled as much had they had the offseason, because he had to learn Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown when he eventually got there, and Scotty Miller and Cameron Brate and all these other players. The only guy he knew really, I mean, he had a little bit of time with Antonio Brown in New England, but the only guy he knew really was Gronk, and it took Gronk a while to get back into it.
Yeah, it did. And Craig, they have been rolling. There's no question about it. And you know there is an aura, and Ira Kaufman will talk about this with us a little bit later on, that Brady, we had Ross Tucker, we recorded that. He's an NFL former player, talking about how precise the snap with Tom Brady and what it meant to that Brady, that was the most important thing, because that's how every play starts, that the little things would lead to the good things and the big things.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much anything in life, right? That's anything in life and getting success. You don't just go off of your talent. It's the work you put in that goes along with your talent that eventually leads you to, your successes. And, sure, there's a little bit of luck for people involved along the way, but it is all about the little things. I mean, you mean to tell me that Tom Brady is more naturally gifted than Deshaun Watson? Is he more naturally gifted than Patrick Mahomes? Is he more naturally gifted than you can name a plethora of quarterbacks? No, he's not. So why is he as good as he is? He's as good as he is because he works as hard as he does, and he studies, and he studies, and he studies, and he knows the ins and outs and everything, every single aspect of the game. That's how he went from a 7th-round draft pick to a guy who's the greatest quarterback of all time. That's not just all of a sudden talent emerging, or all of a sudden just everybody missed on him for 7 rounds and the Patriots just got lucky. No, I mean, this is a guy who put in a lot of work. He got an opportunity eventually, and he took full advantage of it. And everybody wanted to talk for the last couple years about, system quarterback. Is he on his last run? He'll be nothing without Belichick. There was a lot of that chatter. There was more of that chatter than there were people defending Tom Brady and saying, no, he's absolutely a big part of the reason why they're winning. No, he's a system quarterback or this or that. I think he's proven everybody wrong, once again, as he's done throughout his career. And I kind of like it for the legacy of Tom Brady. I like that he's not a Patriot anymore. I was sick of seeing them in the Super Bowl, as I think everybody but Patriots fans were. But I can enjoy him in a different way now, because he's not tagged with Belichick and, the Patriots and the Patriot way and all that jazz. It's the Tom Brady way in Tampa, and it's got them to a Super Bowl. Meanwhile, New England's at home. So I can kind of appreciate him from a different angle this time around, which makes me more intrigued about this game than if he was wearing that Patriot logo on the side of his helmet.
I have a friend, and I'm going to call him out by name.
You do?
Yeah. One friend, Mike McBride, who's a comedian friend of mine, who absolutely vitriolically hates Tom Brady. He hates
more than you hate Tim Tebow?
Deflategate, and like he says, like, oh, he's a cheater, and he did this and he did that. I was like, okay, now he's taken 2 teams to the Super Bowl. He's been to the Super Bowl 10 times. Do you think deflated footballs is the answer? I mean, do you think that Bill Belichick pushing the envelope on, recording some things and that is really the only reason why? Like, I'm sure those little things help, but I said, and Bill Belichick straight up broke the rules a couple times and was punished for it. But bottom line is, like, to take anything away from Tom Brady because of deflated footballs.
But don't we do that with the Astros?
Yeah, but I guess we do a little bit.
And
But this is like Tom Brady, like
he's been there. This is his 10th.
But that was the only damn time the Astros have won.
Yeah,
so like this is like
just a devil's advocate, but we kind of do label some of those guys.
I mean, it's, and he falls a little bit into that category. But the Astros have only won that one time, and to win it, and they had to they were the only people who's ever hit a curveball from Clayton Kershaw because they knew when it was, because they were stealing signs and giving signals. Tom Brady deflating footballs is also akin to that's not steal to me. That's not stealing signs. What Belichick was doing, filming practice, was stealing signs. But what Brady was doing to me is more akin to the sandpaper or pine tar.
Scuffing the ball, whatever it might be. Pine tar. Charles Haley, Mark Rippon, Ira Kaufman, longtime Tampa writer. He's retired but does a blog still, NFL Hall of Fame voter. That's in our 3 o'clock hour. Hall of Famer Morton Anderson at 4. You cannot discuss Super Bowls in Tampa without the great game between the Giants and the Buffalo Bills that started that 4-year run for Buffalo. O.J. Anderson, he'll join us because he had the monster game in Super Bowl 25. He'll join us. So we're going to have Rippon, Super Bowl MVP at 26. Otis Anderson, Super Bowl MVP 25. Ross Tucker. Great stuff, including a lot of things on Baylor and then basketball and Waco. And then also, I released today, thanks to Paul and Craig and Drake and writers as well from Clay Whittington and Greg Willie, among others, voted in our all Central Texas high school football team. That was released today at noon. We'll go over a couple of highlights of that today with some of the superlatives and why. We'll do that in the 5 o'clock hour, and we're still working on a couple of others. To give you a little tip, even though it's tomorrow's show, Sean King, who played quarterback with Tampa, Dave Mason on the betting, the odds, the gambling. Grayson will join us again. Warren Moon, Curly Culp, who won a Super Bowl early on with the Chiefs, DeMarcus Ware, Darryl Strawberry, and that's just a little bit of what we have coming for you tomorrow. Darryl Strawberry, of course, has been through all sorts of stuff in his life. He's written a book. He'll join us today. It was interesting. I all of a sudden looked down at my phone and it says Darryl Strawberry. I tried to reach him earlier in the week, so we'll have him on tomorrow. So we have a long way to go. So Haley won 5 Super Bowls. O.J. Anderson and Rippon each won 2. That's 9 Super Bowls represented on today's show in SicEm365 Radio.
Yeah, unfortunately, Morton never got to win one.
No, he had the team. They had the team when they was it the loss to the Saints? Is that right? That when the Saints win, wasn't that Minnesota? Well, Randall Cunningham here.
Gary Anderson was the kicker.
Yeah,
there.
that's right. Yeah,
it's different Anderson.
Yeah, but so Morton Anderson, a Pro Football Hall of Famer, and of course they'll have the newest class unveiled this weekend that we are pretty much assured will include the great Drew Pearson.
When I went to his hall, I was at his Hall of Fame induction because it was the same as LaDainian Tomlinson's, and I thought he had the best story of the whole time. He said I could have been in here a couple years earlier, except for the fact that when I was retired, I was sitting at home and I'm watching the Falcons and I'm drinking beer with my friend in the first half, and this kicker misses 3 kicks in the first half, and he said, "Well, I got to stop drinking." He said, "Why?" "Because the Falcons are going to call me tomorrow for a tryout."
Sure enough did. By the way, women tonight, the women Lady Bears, the basketball team 7-1 leading the conference. They'll host Kansas. All-time, Kim Mulkey is 31-2 against Kansas in her career at Baylor. And then last night, Craig, number 3 Villanova. Oklahoma State loses. And there was another top 5 team that went down last night as well. A night in college basketball that kind of shook everything up. And there you have it. Gonzaga Baylor right there, 1A and 1B, still at the top of the heap.
Yeah, and that looks like where they're going to remain for, the foreseeable future, although last night does tell you that you have to be very careful and that you have to be focused on the very next game, and that very next game alone, it was a wild night in college basketball, like you said, and the fact that Baylor's been able to get to this point and be able to avoid like those shocking upsets. I mean, St. John's, that was I think who you were looking for, beat Villanova 70-59 last night. So the number 3 team in the country goes down. Houston, the number 5 team in the country, goes down. They fell to East Carolina 82-73. So yeah, 2 top 5 teams both hit the deck last night, and that's what can happen if you're a little bit unfocused, if maybe you're a little bit overconfident. I don't know what the case was for those 2 teams because I don't know those 2 teams as well as I feel like I probably know Baylor, but I think Baylor probably, or Scott Drew or Jerome Tang or Alvin Brooks or somebody saw those scores last night and maybe sent along a little text message like, hey, guys, here's a little reminder of what can happen if you just – you don't do what you're supposed to do for one night. Somebody will jump up and bite you. And you know what? Even if you do everything right, that can still happen as well. But it's hard to imagine that happening if Baylor plays at a high level unless, they're facing off with a Gonzaga type of team. So, yeah, I think it's just a reminder of what can happen when, when college basketball, upset – or it's a reminder of what can happen if you're a little off your game.
9 different Super Bowls we'll have today on the show with our guest, and 5 of them – 5 of the 9, our current guest, former Cowboys and 49ers great, Hall of Famer, and 5-time Super Bowl champion Charles Haley joins us on SicEm365 Radio. Charles, thank you as always. Whenever you can give us time, what separates, in your opinion, teams that can win Super Bowls compared to those who cannot?
Well, the key for me and what I've learned from the guys I've been around is that you keep it simple. It's just a game. And those that make it bigger than a game, those are the ones that goes out and make mistakes. And, you can't put more pressure on yourself than is needed. And I think when the game is hyped up, guys start losing focus. They'll start going out, they'll start having girls in the room. It's just the little things. Those little things add up to be big things on Sunday.
Did it take you a couple of different times? I mean, you won all 5 that you played in, so obviously it went well for you. But did you ever get too keyed up for one of them, especially early on?
No, I had leaders. I had leaders in the locker room that taught us how to prepare. And it's like anything else, man, when you had a coach like Bill Walsh and a micromanager like George Seifert as a defensive coordinator, we went over everything twice. And Bill kept everybody loose. And, one of the greatest things that I always remember is he would bring in people that have done, like, boxing greats or figure skaters or whatever. He would bring them in and tell us what they did to become a champion. He never told us how to be a champion, but he would bring other people in to tell us. And that was one of the things that I really, really admired about him.
Charles, what's the locker room like the day of a Super Bowl? Is it any different from, any other day? Just what's kind of like the atmosphere in the lead up to this game?
Well, you see a lot of guys be over there shivering and shaking. Those are the guys that don't, they just average guys in the way who kills. Then you have your meat and potato guys that you got to corral and keep them focused on what you got to keep a conversation going so that you don't lose them. And then you just talk about when we walk out here, we're gonna walk out and kick butt, man. We're not gonna run. We're gonna walk. They're going to be patient because we're going to whoop all their ass. We just got to figure out where we're going to start,
When you think about it, Charles, and you were a part of some great football teams, and you were a difference maker as well, and you were one that helped flip the switch from what the 49ers were doing compared to what the Cowboys learned to do. But you were a part and won 5. How do you then even recognize what Tom Brady has done, being at 10 of them, winning 6 of them so far, and a chance to win again on Sunday?
Hey, man, only one person can stand in his shoes, and that's him. He's done something that people dream about, and that's winning 1 Super Bowl, and he's won 6, and he's been to 10. So he's a man above boys when it comes down to that part of it. But his age is catching up, and, I just hope, he's throwing the ball up for grabs. If guys can catch, opportunities are going to be there for him. You just gotta, you gotta root for a guy that's that old and on his 10th Super Bowl. So, it's just an amazing feat.
Of the 5, do you have a personal favorite season that you really felt was kind of special just to you?
No. Hey, every year comes with sacrifice. Mm-hmm. Every guy that you line up with had hamstring, knees, back, shoulder. We've always had something, and that made us bond even more. The sacrifice that we made for each other is the key. As I tell people, the Hall of Fame ring was given to me. The Super Bowl rings, I sat with 10 other guys, and we sacrificed. We bled together, cried together, and we cheered together. And that's what makes a team. 11 guys, not one, 11 guys getting together and making a difference.
Charles, you've been a part of a lot of efforts off the field to help people out, whether it be the Salvation Army or the Jubilee Center, all the different things, projects that you've been a part of. How much being a servant and helping other people, how important is that to you?
Well, as I tell my board members and other people, is that I've left a mark in the NFL that's sketched in stone. I said the mark I want to leave now is on society. I want them to understand that there's more to a man than just his job. We have to learn to give back. We have to learn to love one another. Now, when I say love one another, I believe that you have to be compassionate, because when you love, you close your eyes. But when you have compassion, you see. And that's what I do when I go down in the community. Me and Ronnie, we're doing a podcast tomorrow about mental illness, and I want to bring attention to that because I had to deal with that, and so many people are dealing with so many of my close friends, kids or wife or somebody has hung themselves, jumped off, did something crazy, and they're no longer here. So the family is left with all this grief and sorrow, wondering what could I've done. So I want to get out and let them know what I went through and how I came through it.
Charles Haley, 5-time Super Bowl champion and a Pro Football Hall of Fame defensive end. Would you mind telling us, if you don't mind, because it does allow someone who might be listening who struggles, who may not be at a really, really bad, deep level, but maybe they are, what was your lowest level? What made you get help?
Well, I lost it all. When I lost my family, I saw the fright in my kids' eyes for the first time in my life. I know I've probably done it about 100 times, but I saw for once the fright in their eyes, and I said to myself, I never want to see this again. And we don't have enough time to go through all my trials and tribulations, and I knew I had something wrong, and I chose to stay silent. There was a kid inside of me screaming for help, but I wouldn't let that kid out. Ronnie Lott. I had a thing at the Raiders where I got mad and I put my hand through a glass. I had like a nervous breakdown, and the doctors wouldn't come and work on me because they were scared. And he was at the Raiders, and he had to come over, man, and calm me down, and he saved my life, man. And so he understands what I went through. He understands what he saw. He'll never understand what I go through. No one can understand what somebody with a mental illness goes through. But when you see it, you're able to have more compassion and help others. Because the thing that I want to tell everybody who's listening, find one damn thing to live for. Just find one. Don't find 20 or 30. Find one and believe in it. And that one thing will keep you from hurting yourself.
Charles, I don't have a question. I just want to say thank you for just telling that story. It's every time we get to talk to you, it's always great that you are courageous enough to share your story and to keep helping people.
Hey, that's what God wants us to do, man. We have to be servants.
Charles, there was a time when you and the media, it just didn't go well. Was that part of you because you were angry with yourself, or did somebody burn you at some point early in your career with a column or a quote that was misquoted or something that was written about you?
Well, I came from small James Madison, and I would do interviews. They were asking me questions. I said, yeah, no. I didn't know how to elaborate on stuff. And then the guy went out and wrote a shit-ass story about me. And then the next time he wants to walk in and act like he's my damn friend. And I think I might have done something. And then after that, the media didn't like me anymore. But, I'm good with that, man. What I say is this, man. If you treat people like you want to be treated, you would never have a problem. Every player that you stick a microphone in front of will answer your question if you treat them with respect. But when you think that because you have the mic, the bullet pulpit, that you can belittle people and try to bring them down, you didn't build me up, so you can't bring me down. So that's the way I look at life.
Craig Smoak, one more question for Charles Haley on SicEm365 Radio.
Yeah, Charles, on a bit of a different note, so great to hear you tell your story, by the way. I think it's really helpful for a lot of people out there. This doesn't have so much to do with that, but we are in Cowboys country, and you are one of the all-time great Cowboys. What's it going to take for them to be in this game and have us covering them rather than Tom Brady or anybody else for that matter?
Shit, it's going to take a miracle. They don't have the talent. They don't have the talent to win. The guys that had injuries this year, major injuries, not just regular injuries. I mean, major injuries. They probably won't be ready to play to game 2 or 3. Going in and try to get back to full speed, and then you got a quarterback. Where's your quarterback at? Are you going to wait till the last minute, or then you got a quarterback that's pissed off because you didn't treat him with respect, and you got a defense, man. What the hell? You got linebacker core. I don't know what the hell that is. I don't even know if they got one. So I just see a bunch of people on defense want to jump up and dance, and I don't see people making plays. So defense win games to my book, and I see a lot of them on the sideline. And when you start seeing these guys want to be on the field and make a difference, that's when you see the Cowboys. But right now, I don't see it.
Charles, we see you, we hear you, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for your story, and also the moments you gave the 49ers and Cowboys fans and so many other people, more about life than about what you did on the football field, but it gave you a voice and people listen. Thanks for your time so much.
Hey, thank you, guys. God bless you.
Wow. Charles Haley, deep. Great stuff. Craig Smoak, Paul Catalina, David Smoak. And by the way, there's a graphic up under at SicEm365 Radio. I don't know, Armstrong, Jack, Rob, Connor, Cole, all of them. What we have behind the scenes, I cannot stress enough, and we have the cavalry there to help the general and Armstrong Sims after yesterday being Custer's last stand for him in the studio. Man, it's beautiful. Thank you guys for what you do behind the scenes. Craig's in Waco in our studio. Paul Catalina, David Smoak. Coming up, Super Bowl 26 MVP Mark Rippon. This is SicEm365 Radio.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
2020 made you tough. Now get a tough SUV to match. There's a reason Allen Samuels has been a Customer First Excellence Award winner for 3 consecutive years. Stop by and check out the friendly, courteous sales staff, world-class facility, and top-ranked Jeep inventory. Get $6,750 in values on a new Jeep Renegade or $4,000 in total values on the new Tough as Nails Jeep Gladiator Sport and Oberlin. Experience firsthand the Start Something New sales event at Allen Samuels and check them out at allensamuelsdcj.com. See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world?
by not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference, and that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause weight gain, and wreak havoc on your sexual desire and performance. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results, so if you're tired of being tired, I challenge you to man up and Google search Low T Waco or go online pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $150 a month, includes lab work, office consultation, testosterone injections, follow-up visits compared to $395 a month in Dallas or Austin, and you don't have to fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T as board-certified physician consultations will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone available. Contact Petty Clinic Low T today, just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway. Petty Clinic Low T, helping men become the high-performance men they deserve to be. PettyClinicLowT.com or Google search Low T Waco.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
We've sent the nomination forms to area high school counselors for the 11th annual Academic All-Stars team, and we will find 20 elite student athletes who excel in both academic and athletic competition from Central Texas high schools. Hello, everyone. This is David Smoak. Our title sponsor is Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, protecting Texans since 1952. The 2021 Academic All-Stars program is also brought to you by Westdale Asset Management, Englander Design Pack, Southwest Sports Medicine, Allen Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, Coca-Cola of Waco, Ray Broker Air Conditioning and Heating, Texas Sports Hall of Fame, HEB, the McLean Group, Universal Windows Direct, Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, and the Waco Foundation are 501c3. Nomination deadlines March 31st. We'll eventually announce the team on Monday, May 3rd, honor them at our annual banquet on Wednesday, May the 19th. It's the 11th annual Academic All-Stars team highlighting the elite student athletes in Central Texas right here on SicEm365 Radio.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
All right, so we got to tell a little story here. We're waiting on Mark Rippon, Super Bowl 26 MVP quarterback with the Redskins. They won in their 4 straight Super Bowls. Of course, we know the Scott Norwood kick in Super Bowl 25. Washington busted them in 26. Cowboys hammered them in 27 and 28. And I have to say this. There is nobody around us right now within 50, 80, 100 feet, but the NFL security is asking for us to wear our mask while we're on the air. We have to, of course, go by the NFL protocol. So I don't know if it's going to be a little bit more muffled when we're talking, but we are aware that we're possibly our microphones were rubbing up against the mask. So we're here. Craig Smoak in studio.
We are. And Craig, this morning we got here. I say this morning it was pretty much noon when we got here. We didn't have to get here early for any reason. So we got here right at noon. We come in here, we drop off our bags, and we walk out because Eric did bring some candles for us to display and give away to the few people that are here. And as we're walking out, a gentleman in a suit stops us and says, "Would you guys please stand over here?" and can I see your IDs, please? And we were, I mean, detained is not the right word, but we were stopped and asked questions about, we heard that you guys were planning an operation. Are you guys planning an operation? And he asked this several times. We're like, we just walked in and dropped her. I didn't even talk to anybody but the people at the door, so we walked out. I maybe saw hi to Kyle.
We were detained.
Yeah, we were detained. And then so.
Let's get straight to the point.
Yeah, we were detained. Information, business cards, asked us a ton of questions.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It
was interesting. We're now joined by go ahead, Craig. Go ahead.
Yeah,
no, we'll get back into it really later. Strange.
Yeah, so we're now joined by Super Bowl 26 most valuable player, Washington quarterback Mark Rippon, two-time Super Bowl champion on SicEm365 Radio. Mark, thank you very, very much for being a part of the show. Because of the experience you had, especially the one when you lit up Buffalo, does Super Bowl week still mean a little bit more to you when the game comes around every year?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, guys, thanks for having me on. And I bet you this week you guys are smoking hot.
We got a comedian.
Yeah.
But no,
yes, absolutely. If you can't have any fun, I was gonna do a couple other things to your producers beforehand, but I figured they might not like my humor. So, anyways, it is always a great week. Reflect on not only the game itself, but the guys that I suited up with. I mean, those are the guys that matter, and those are the guys that I stay in touch with, and still have a golf tournament out in Queenstown. It was canceled last year. Queenstown, Maryland, it was canceled last year because of COVID, and we're hopefully going to get one going again this year. But it's always great to see those guys, the memories that I shared with them, and the experience of Minneapolis 30-plus years ago was just surreal.
Is it hard to watch the Washington football team since then because they haven't been able to even come close to matching what you guys did?
Well, it is, but it kind of makes you got to put things kind of all in somewhat of perspective. How difficult it is to get to that game. You look at Buffalo, and 4 years in a row that they went, and the high-powered teams that they had, and never got that chance to hoist the Lombardi Trophy. So it's the game is tough. Let's face it. And we've had some very lean years in Washington. I think we have got a formula now with Coach Rivera and Jason Wright and the guys in the front office and coaching staff and players to take us to that next level. I just think if we get the quarterback situation ironed out, we're gonna be pretty good.
Mark, what do you think of that quarterback position? I mean, obviously, Dwayne Haskins was a pick that went awry very quickly, an unfortunate situation there. And, obviously, Alex Smith, an incredible comeback story. But, getting up there in age, we'll see. And then Heineke, kind of the young spark at the end there. It seems as though they'll probably, have to add on to that. But just kind of what do you make of the group or the group that was last season?
Well, obviously the Alex Smith story was just incredible. Mm-hmm. If you didn't have tears, when he came onto that football field after what he'd been through, after seeing his documentary and all the trials and tribulations that he had, and for him to even be alive was incredible. Never mind to get back out and play. So I think that was really a storyline in itself. I like Dwayne, as an athlete, and I thought that his off season, what he did in the off season to kind of promote himself to that role and be the guy, and then not play at a level that we all thought he could play at, and then how it ended was difficult, and then this young kid comes in, against a pretty good football team, and the Buccaneers, obviously they're in the Super Bowl, and this kid plays lights out, and I've always kind of had my own perspective on NFL scouts. I just kind of wonder if they ever throw on any film. And, this guy wasn't playing against the Sisters of the Poor. I mean, granted, the Old Dominion wasn't in the SEC or the Big Ten, but this kid made plays, and he great athleticism and great ability. And, I think there's a lot of those diamonds in the rough, like Taylor, that are going to get a chance and an opportunity. Now, whether it could be the franchise guy, I don't know, but it does open the doors for a lot. My little nephew plays at Denver, and I love him to death. He had a great career and threw for over 15,000 yards at Boise State. So those are guys, that I think can hang around if they do get their chance. And who says that because of where you were drafted means you're going to be the franchise guy? And that's just always been kind of a myth more than anything. But it does bode well when you do look at Patrick Mahomes. But Tom Brady wasn't a lottery pick. Mm-hmm. He was a 6-rounder. Two of the greatest quarterbacks of the NFL were 6-rounders. Me and Tom. Just kidding. Yeah, we were both 6th-round picks, and,
Super Bowl champs,
and Super Bowl champs. So there's a lot to say about a guy's work ethic, and obviously we get to see that on display this week with Tom Brady and what he's been able to do at 43 years old. Just absolutely incredible.
Can you try to describe the kind of I don't know if it was patience, because I know Joe Gibbs was someone who was a perfectionist, but how he handled the quarterbacks from when Doug Williams was there, you, Jay Schrader, and others as well, and how he always seemed to have a room that was filled with great talent?
Well, we had a luxury of kind of learning under a system and then interjecting ourselves, whether it be Joe Theismann, watching Sonny and Billy and then getting his opportunity, whether it be Jay Schrader watching Joe and getting his opportunity, whether it be, Doug Williams watching Jay and getting his opportunity, or myself under, Doug Williams' mentorship, get my opportunity. We had the luxury of being able to watch and learn and have the chance to, when we were ready, we were definitely ready. And it was either you're going to get it done or you weren't. And I can always remember the first game I ever played. First of all, watching the game from the sidelines and up close and personal, and thinking to myself, oh my gosh, there's no way I can play in the NFL. These guys are too fast, too quick. The game looks too fast and too quick. But you'll find out that if you ever ask the really, really great ones and the ones that have been able to be successful and win at a high level, they're able to slow the game down. And that's kind of what happened with me. I didn't speed it up because I thought the game was fast. I tried to slow it down because of what I was taught, what I learned to understand from our system, play within the system, and be successful.
Did you feel personally, especially that year, the Super Bowl, locked in? Like, how could you play any better? I mean, because it was that good that year.
Yeah, it was just, it was really kind of, again, I use the word surreal again, but it was a group of guys that had a mission and a goal in mind from the onset of training camp. A bunch of smart guys too. You ask Joe Gibbs and he'll say that 91-92 team, they threw everything at the book at us thinking, oh, these guys aren't going to be able to get this game plan. We're just messing with them and we're not talking we're Harvard or Yale law students at all, but we were very smart in our trait. And that was smart football players that understood the system that they were playing in and playing under, and went out and it wasn't like we had a lot of superstars. We did have the Art Monks. We did have the, Gary Clarks and the Darryl Greens and the Charles Manns, but it was a team that was collectively as a group pretty solid and ultimately culminated in that Super Bowl in 91-92, where technically we should have been undefeated. We lost to Dallas we came within a yard of beating them, and then kind of were up at halftime against Philadelphia, last game of the season, and kind of pulled the reins and went in 14-2 and just kind of had a pretty easy go at it when we got into the playoffs.
What do you think of Patrick Mahomes? What have you noticed from his, skyrocketing from, being a rookie and then eventually getting his turn very quickly, and now, in his second straight Super Bowl? And how much fun do you think it is playing in that Chiefs offense?
Oh my goodness. He makes the Chiefs offense. They got weapons. Let's not, but Patrick Mahomes is a darn good football player. The modern GOAT, I would say. Tom Brady is the ultimate GOAT, but I think Patrick Mahomes is just each and every year. I love his maturity as a football player and what he does on and off the field. The guy's just fantastic in every aspect of what he does, how he throws the ball from all different positions and on the run, backhanded. He could probably throw it behind the back better than I could overhand. So he's an amazing talent. It's so fun to watch him play. I just got a little, excitement this week because Todd Bowles is the defensive coordinator and was our free safety for the Washington football team, Washington Redskins, when we played. And he's got the ultimate task of trying to shut down Patrick Mahomes. And we all saw what happened. I think week 13 or 14, what they did the first half against the Bucs, and they're explosive. But I think Todd's going to have a different perspective this time around, and he's going to throw some wrinkles at Patrick. And I think one of the main things I like about Patrick is his ability. I mean, his mental aspect, his mental approach to the game. The guy's, he's like a savant when it comes to that. He's very good at pointing out who the Mike is, getting guys in the right passing blocking schemes, and is a very, very savvy as Tom Brady is with the X's and O's as much as he is his
Raleigh McKenzie, Jim Lachey, Jeff Bostic, Mark Schlereth, who was on the show yesterday with us, and Joe Jacoby, and Russ Grimm, who's a Hall of Famer. I think he was a backup on that team. You were sacked less than double digits the entire year. What was that like?
Well, I mean, there's been guys who've been sacked more in one game than I did the whole season. There's a couple things. One, I wasn't the most mobile guy. My guys knew where my pocket was, and I knew where they were going to form the pocket, and I stayed within that and moved within that pocket. And also, we were very good on blitz breakoffs and blitz reads and throwing hot routes and maximum protection and getting the ball off on time. It was a different era of football, as we know, because of the concussion situation. And I think that they've made the rules a little bit more lucrative to the skilled players. We had tough guys. Gary Clark wasn't the biggest guy, but he was tough going over the middle. And there were headhunters back then. And so it's the game has definitely had to take a tone down because of the speed and the strength of the athlete today. And so I think they're doing a good job with that. But we were really on point when it came to protection, making sure that we had the right protection / hot reads, throwing hot routes, getting out of a bad play into a good play, really on the same page. And that's, ultimately it led to that, 37-24 win in Minneapolis.
Mark, it's great to have you on. Craig, anything else for Mark Rippon?
Nope, nothing from me.
All right, Mark, the memories of 1991, that's all I have as a Redskins fan right now, other than the ones before that, too. But so thank you very much. I've never had a chance to interview you before. We covered your son against Baylor in the bowl game out in Arizona.
Yes.
Obviously had a heck of a year.
My nephew, David. That's not my son, my nephew.
I'm sorry.
But,
I'm sorry.
He's a good one. I love Brett, and I think he's got a chance to play for a few years. And I've always teased him. I said, what, the best position in football is a backup quarterback because everybody loves you, and you don't have to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. You're right.
Well, thanks, guys. Hey, are you guys going to go to the game, or do you have tickets to the game or not?
I have been. I'm going with a friend of mine, Eric. I'm going. Paul's flying back on Saturday, but I'll be there on Sunday. Yes. Well,
fantastic. If you can do something for me, go take a picture in section 242 to 245 of my face that's sitting in one of those seats and send it to me. That'd be awesome.
Are you serious? Yeah, section 242. Yeah. If I can get to it without any kind of issues of me getting there, I will absolutely do that and send that to you.
Yeah. Sections 242 to 245. They're putting a bunch of cutouts of some of the old guys, and so I'll be in the stadium watching with my cutout.
That's awesome. Mark Rippon, right. Super Bowl 26 MVP, two-time champion. Thank you very much for always being in class. Appreciate you. That's, again, Mark Rippon with us on SicEm365 Radio. Coming up next, Ira Kaufman, Hall of Fame voter, longtime writer for the Tampa Tribune. He does some work, podcasts, blogs, etc., covers the NFL. And Ira Kaufman is next on SicEm365 Radio.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance, and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like instant issue debit cards free at all of our banking centers, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
Ira Kaufman, Tampa Bay Hall of Fame writer, also writes for Joe Buck and here at the Super Bowl. How many have you covered over the years?
I believe this might be 30 for me, 30.
Okay, I'm just a little bit under that tick ever since Super Bowl 27. So here we are, and they're at home. And I always still think it's amazing with all the places that have hosted Super Bowls that this is truly the first time a team is ever at home. What has it meant to the city of Tampa and the Buccaneers?
Well, I mean, it's been fantastic because I think since March 20th, which was the day that they announced that Tom Brady was a Buccaneer, I think the Buccaneers have been the focal point of the National Football League ever since that day. It was a heck of a gamble by this franchise to bring in a quarterback at that age, bring in veterans around them like Gronkowski and Antonio Brown and Fournette, and they're all in. They pushed the chips all in the middle of the table, and Buck fans didn't know quite what to expect. And when they were 7-5, a lot of people thought this experiment was a failure. They're not going to make the playoffs. Brady's not getting along with the coaches. He can't throw a long ball. Well, guess what? They haven't lost since the bye week. 7 games, 7 wins. They're peaking, and they're in representing the NFC in what I think is going to be a historic Super Bowl.
What does it mean about how good Bruce Arians was during the time when things weren't perfect, and even Brady was not perfect, and that they figured out a way to get through that? Because you could have a clash of egos as a coach and quarterback, no matter how much success they've had before.
I think it's a credit to Arians that he didn't have his ego didn't stop him from molding this offense to Brady's specifications. They always say the coaches coach, players play, but, in this case, you're talking about a unique individual in Brady, what he had accomplished for 2 decades in Foxborough. And if you got to give a little bit from a coaching standpoint and do the things that Tom Brady's comfortable with, that's what you do, and that's what Arians and Byron Leftwich did. So give them some credit. They said, this is all about Brady. He's the reason we're in this position. He's the reason we have a chance. And they lowered their egos a little bit, checked it at the room, and so give them some credit.
Has Brady even surprised you?
He has, because he's getting better as the season goes along. Now, he didn't play great against Green Bay. Mm-hmm. Very shocking that he threw 3 picks. I think only one of them was really his fault, the last one. But he's playing at a very high level, and give the offensive line a lot of credit. They're giving him time, and that's what it's all about with Brady. It's always been that way with Brady. If you give him time, he will carve you up. Just ask Seattle. They had a heck of a, Legion of Boom defense. What Brady do in the fourth quarter? 10 for 10. Just ask the Falcons. What Brady do in the fourth quarter? Everybody remembers. So here we are going into Sunday, and I'll tell you one thing. If I'm Andy Reid and I'm protecting a 4-point lead with 1.5 minutes left, I'm not punting the ball to Brady.
Yeah, I think you think that everyone's learned those lessons over the years. Your thoughts, that you've been in the business a long, long time, so you have the GOAT in Tom Brady with what he's done, and then you have this young, unbelievable talent in Patrick Mahomes, who I've known his dad forever, covered him when he was in high school, and what Patrick Mahomes. So it's the new and it's the greatest, and kind of a collision course here.
What you're describing is the absolute dream matchup from an NFL perspective. Aaron Rodgers is a big story. Brady's a bigger story. Buffalo Bills, nice story. They haven't been around since the early 90s. They haven't been very good. Well, guess what? The Chiefs are a better story. It doesn't get any better. Brady, Mahomes, Chiefs trying to run it back, and the Bucs pushing all the chips in. Great gamble, and I think this grand experiment may very well pay off very handsomely for the Bucs.
I know that when the Bucs won it with Gruden, when they beat the Raiders, and they had that victory, which was awesome. But Tony Dungy helped build a lot of what they did, and then Gruden was able to figure out a way one more time. But Lovie Smith was on that staff as well, and he's a good friend of mine, and he's about to be the defensive coordinator with the Texans under David Culley. You remember much about the young Lovie Smith?
Well, I know that he was he was a heck of a leader for the Buccaneer linebackers. He was a driving force. Derek Brooks talks about him to me all the time. Hardy Nickerson was on those teams. Lovie Smith was a heck of an assistant coach on a very, very talented staff that included Mike Tomlin, Rod Marinelli, top-notch Herm Edwards, and Lovie Smith was right there, and he helped groom Derek Brooks into a Hall of Fame player.
Your thoughts then? What happens? And what will this city do? They're trying not to be a home game. You try to have a neutral setting, but my God, it's a home game for the Buccaneers.
It's a home game, but instead of 65,000, we've got 22,000, and 7,500 of them will be healthcare workers that may not have a rooting interest in this game, but so be it. I'm glad they're doing that. I think it's a great gesture from a league standpoint. Buck's very familiar with this stadium, but you know what? The Chiefs were here 10 weeks ago, and they blitzed the Bucks. That game was over in about 8 minutes, and Carlton Davis is still trying to catch up to Tyreek Hill. So I think it's going to be a great game. I'm going 31-27 Buccaneers. I think Brady makes a few plays in the fourth quarter, and I think the Bucs are better in the trenches. But you never know with Mahomes. He's the great equalizer in this league.
Ira Kaufman is a Hall of Fame writer, Pro Football Hall of Fame writer on SicEm365 Radio.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man, he has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trust the doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
It's a new year. Time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Hi, this is David Smoak, including what you'll need to watch the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl. Ribs, sausage, links, brisket, chicken wings, bags of various snacks, and customized appetizer trays. Don't forget to order something now for the perfect home-cooked Valentine's Day dinner, which is closer than you think, including combo packs with ribeyes, fillets, and lobster tails. Live crawfish season is just around the corner. Absolutely the right time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Waco Custom Marketplace, your family meat market, butcher shop, and bakery with everything baked fresh with old-fashioned farmers market atmosphere. Serving Waco restaurants and families since 1940. Your one-stop shop for beef, pork, poultry, and seafood needs. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Waco's newest gym, Halo Athletic Center, 5725 Bagby Avenue, right behind Region 12 and across the highway from the Central Texas Marketplace, where motivation, inspiration, and hard work are the driving force. State-of-the-art equipment, indoor and outdoor track, locker rooms, showers, yoga and bar classes by Duality Yoga, bod pod potty composition analysis, and registered dietitians, all under one roof, where we rise above. Come join the Halo Athletic Center and be a part of the change. Your change.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Held the Rams to 2 for 8. Brady floats it. He's got Evans. What a throw.
The presenting sponsor of Super Bowl 55 coverage from Tampa, Florida on SicEm365 Radio is Marco's Pizza. Pizza for pizza lovers with locations in Woodway, China Spring, and Belmead.
Mahomes in trouble, able to load it, and gets the completion at the 49 to Kelsey again.
Also brought to you by IdealMRI.com, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, Waco Custom Marketplace, Boozer's Jewelers, Stonewood Dental, Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac.
Lobs it up in the air to Kelsey. No one near him.
Edward Jones Financial Advisors, Petty Clinic Low T, Pioneer Steel and Pipe, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, and Impact Health Labs. Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
We're about to go back-to-back with Andersons. They spell their names different. One of them, a Pro Football Hall of Famer, and one, the last time, well, not the last time, but the Giants, when they were in a Super Bowl, played in Tampa against that explosive Buffalo Bills team that went to 4 straight. O.J. Anderson will join us, and we're now joined by Pro Football Hall of Famer. And if you look inside the Hall of Fame, you go dig inside the Hall of Fame, Morton Anderson, Jan Stenerud, Lou Groza, George Blanda, and then the punter, Ray Guy. It's a very small group. It's an elite group, and Morton Anderson joins us on SicEm365 Radio. Morton, thanks for your time. Are there other kickers that should be in the Hall of Fame, in your opinion?
Oh, there's a whole bunch. We need a whole wing in there, guys. Yeah. You can start with Gary Anderson, Eddie Murray, Jason Hansen, Adam Vinatieri when he finally hangs him up, if he hasn't already. And in 5 years, he should be in. Justin Tucker, eventually, when he hangs him up, if he continues on the path he's at. And then other specialists, Steve Tasker, Devin Hester, some of the guys there, very good specialists that affected games, changed the way we looked at special teams, won games. So there's a whole bunch, but you know, there's a lot of good players that deserve to be in the hall that's in there, and it's just there's a logjam at the door.
Morton, do you have to have as a kicker a mentality of you have to have a short memory but understand what you did, and maybe because you've always had a great sense of humor and been able to kick back, to be able to kind of to laugh at yourself a little bit so you don't go nuts because there's a pressure cooker in the NFL at that position?
Well, I think one of the important things, if you want to have longevity, is you got to have a certain amount of skill. You got to be good, and then you got to work, and then you don't take yourself too seriously. Certainly, in my position, where most of my time is spent on the sideline trying to manage that time, and then interrupted by a few moments of intensity and distasteful world of suck moments, if you will. I mean, if you don't embrace that, and really a cornerback, a shutdown corner who has to man up on the best receiver of the opposing team, I would think that's the world of suck too, because the guy's trying to go deep on you, he's trying to embarrass you, he's trying to take advantage of you. So from a kicker standpoint, your job security is literally, put that pigskin, a foot-long ball up between 16 feet 8 inches. That's the bottom line. However, however you do it, and whatever gets you to that moment of intensity, 1.2 seconds from snap to kick. But really, it's managing your time, managing your energy. It doesn't do you a world of good if you go out and shank one in the beginning of the game, and now you realize that you're down in the dumps, but you got 3.5 quarters to go, and you might have to come in and hit a game winner. You got to man up. I mean, this is big boy stuff on Sunday afternoons. So I knew what I signed up for, and the way I handled it was I took my craft extremely serious, but I also knew to kind of have fun and keep it loose in the locker room, keep it loose on the sideline. But when it was time, and for me, when we got to the 50-yard line, that's when I put my hard hat on. And that's when I signaled to myself and to everybody around me that they were to leave me alone because I was about to go to work.
Morton, you were a native of Denmark, played a lot of different sports. I was curious, what were your first thoughts when you saw American football?
Well, it wasn't a game for me, I thought, initially, because you had to put a lot of equipment on and the ball wasn't round and it looked violent. And there was a lot of bloody uniforms and dirty uniforms, not something I was really accustomed to in gymnastics and soccer, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, It's not part of tumbling and vaulting. It's not part of dribbling around on for 90 minutes and try to score a goal and the game is 2-1. This was really a man's game, so it took me a while to wrap my head around that and to find my way to fit in there, but happened very quickly. They needed a kicker. I had the foot, and the rest is history. I found a beautiful combination there for sure.
You kicked in domes quite a bit, which of course is great, but obviously you're going to eventually kick everywhere. Was there a stadium, an outdoor stadium, Morton, that was just something that you always seemed to, it didn't fit your eye or you struggled with?
No, I liked it all. I aim for the middle, guys, no matter if I'm inside or outside. I aim for the middle because it never changes. But, I was, a lot of people try to label me as a dome kicker, as an inside kicker. It's almost like there was an asterisk next to my name. I say it's BS because if you look at my numbers, they're better outside than inside. So that argument doesn't hold water. I don't mind the elements. I like a little adversity. I don't mind if the wind is blowing a little bit. Or the thing that's tough for guys is if the surface is bad. And the worst surface I had was, the worst stadium to kick in for me was Chicago because it was, the ground was sandy and the grass was long and it wasn't solid ground. So when you went to plant, there was a square of turf that would cut a whole square foot of turf that would come up. So you just never knew what you had. And one thing that's very important for a kicker, it's a solid plant.
Morton, I was at your Hall of Fame induction, which I thoroughly enjoyed. LaDainian Tomlinson is from Waco, so that's why we went. But I thought that your story, and if you could just tell it about your comeback to the Falcons when you were watching TV with your buddy.
I had been out of football for 20 months. I was unemployed. I thought I was going to come back in. I'd left the Vikings after the 2004 season, and after 20 months and the phone not ringing, it became obvious that maybe it never would ring again with an opportunity. But third week of the season in 2006, I am sitting there having a couple of cold ones with my neighbor, and this guy from the Falcons, he was having a really bad day. I think he missed 4 field goals inside of 40 yards. And I turned to Eric, my neighbor, and said, I'm switching to water. Because I said, the phone's going to ring. He goes, your phone's going to ring. It hasn't rang in 20 months. What makes you think it's going to ring now? I said, I just have a hunch that it's going to ring and I'll be in for a tryout, the next day. And sure enough, the phone did ring and they asked me to come in. At 9 a.m., I respectfully declined and said 2 p.m. because I needed some time to hydrate, to be honest with you. But I went in there and I thought it was just going to be me, and it was me and 4 other guys half my age. Now, I'm 46 years old, and these guys are 23, 22, right out of college. I call them flat bellies because that's what they were. I was not. And it was mano a mano, 15 kicks. And, I had a really good tryout. I hit most of the kicks and turned around. I was feeling pretty good about myself. And I turned to everybody watching, including the coaches and the GM and scouts, and I said, questions, anyone? And my special teams coach, Joe D. Camillus, said, yeah, I have one question, black or blue ink? And I said, I'll take black ink. And I went up and signed a 1-year deal, and a couple of months later, I became the all-time leading scorer in the history of the game against the Dallas Cowboys. So that's kind of, I think, the takeaway, and what I wanted to say in Canton, Ohio, during my induction speak, is that you have to embrace the uncomfortable, and that is part of being in the high-performance business, is embracing the uncomfortable and the world to suck. And those 20 months would have been very easy to say, you know what, I've had a good run, let's hang him up, but I knew there was work to do. I was 77 points away from becoming the all-time leading scorer in the game. That was important to me. And people can say, well, that's selfish and self-absorbing. Yes, it is. And if you talk to any athlete at the highest level, they will admit to anybody that wants to listen that they are selfish, and it is required to be so. Otherwise, you can't be at the highest level. So, and the takeaway is simply to have the right kind of stubbornness and will to see things through, even when others don't think it's possible.
Most people more know you as as a Saint, but obviously maybe a Falcon and a handful of other teams. You did play with Kansas City for a couple of seasons. Does that mean anything to you, having spent some time there, to see them go and win the Super Bowl last year and now to be back again this year?
Absolutely. It was really 2 fantastic years I spent in 2002, 2003, and we were really good. offensively with Trent Green, Tony Gonzalez, Priest Holmes. Very, very good football team, explosive, scored a lot of points. Should have won, should have gone deep, should have been at the Super Bowl. Got beat by Peyton Manning and the Colts, and it was just we had home field advantage, throughout. But we get beat at home in the divisional round, so it's fun to watch Mahomes. It's fun to watch that offensive powerhouse that they have. So many weapons, can score so quickly, junk yardage. This is going to be a fantastic Super Bowl. It's going to be kind of a contrasting offensive style, but Brady doesn't care who catches the ball for him, and a little more balance with the play action. Mahomes, Eric Fisher will be missed at the left tackle position. I think that's important. Kind of watch how Tampa might be able to take advantage of that, although the guy that's stepping in for Eric Fisher is capable. So it's going to be a real fun game, high scoring, lots of offense. And, whoever kind of gets a crucial turnover might win this thing. I think it's a field goal game. I think it's both teams over 30 points. So I like the numbers, and I like, it's like a high scoring, track meet. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
All right, Morten, you mentioned, obviously, born in Denmark. You're a Great Dane Nation podcast, and what you do with that. Hall of Fame kicker Morten Andersen right now with us.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a blast. Great Dane Nation has been going on since September. We have a guest once a week, and we have insiders for people that want to wager on the games. I'm not part of that, but I provide the content, all my Pro Football Hall of Fame brothers. I just interviewed Troy Aikman today. I had Emmett Smith on last week. Yesterday, we just released Andre Tippett. He had some interesting things to say about Tom Brady and about Belichick and about the Patriots. Andre Tippett is one of the few guys. He's been part of 11 Super Bowls with New England, either as a player or in the front office. So I think he's a very credible source to speak on behalf of that franchise and the Patriots way, but also talk about Brady and what he meant to that organization and where he's heading. So just some really interesting, intriguing. What's interesting, and I'm not going to take too much time on it, but really it's a study in the human spirit when you talk to these high-performing guys. They all came from nothing, most of them. Came from dirt-poor environments, really, and found their way out of that situation through sport. And then with will and stubbornness, and trust me, more than 20 months that I only had to deal with. This is years and years and years of adversity and people telling them they can't do it, with lack of mentorship in many cases. And these guys all, without exception, became elite at what they did because they just had this dream and they followed it and they didn't give up, and they were uncompromising in their quest for excellence. It was so motivating to listen to these guys and so inspiring. So I would invite anybody who's looking for a little boost and a little optimism, which we can all use right now in this environment. Let's tune into Great Dane Nation, and you'll feel pretty good about yourself.
Man, yeah, no question about it. Morten, thanks for your time. Congratulations on the induction, of course, just a few years back, and the great career. We appreciate the memories.
All right, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on, and have a great game.
You too. That's Morten Andersen. It's called the Great Dane Nation Podcast. And how about that? Emmett, Aikman, others, Andre Tippett, who is a Pro Football Hall of Famer as well.
I think to be an elite kicker, you have to be a little bit off, like he is. You do. I mean, you have to, like, if you look at the ones who are really good and, like, you talk to them, you're like, Justin Tucker's pretty laid-back dude. You can't. Adam Vinatieri's got a great sense of humor. Look, I'll tell you, Mike Vanderjagt used to be funny, and then he kind of went off the deep end. He got bad, know. And then, look, okay, the most successful sports podcast or show going right now that's kind of not mainstream is Pat McAfee, and now he's not a kicker, but he's a punter. But, I mean, you have to have kind of you have one job in the whole all the time. You got to be a little bit left to center.
Yeah, I think you got to have a little bit of a different wiring than most people. I mean, as he was saying, he would have certain moments where he knew, like, once the team got to the 50, all right, it's time to start locking in. But, yeah, it can be difficult to sit there and be on the sidelines the entire game practically, and all of a sudden you're the guy that's supposed to come in and win it. That takes a different kind of kind of brain than, your typical quarterback or wide receiver, defensive lineman or whoever. Not that those guys don't have their own pressures and own mentality that they have to have as well. But for a kicker, it is very different because you truly don't know when your number might be called most of the time. And, you might be a total non-factor in a game, and yet the game comes down to you. So it's kind of crazy that's how that works. But, I think you got to have a little bit different wiring for that.
Like a relief pitcher, a closer.
Like a relief pitcher,
Most of them are, you got to forget your last blown save if you have one, and you got to forget maybe a last kick that you missed under in the clutch. All right, coming up, that's Morten Andersen, Pro Football Hall of Fame kicker. From Morten Andersen to O.J. Anderson, Super Bowl 25 MVP with the Giants. He's next on SicEm365 Radio.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store.
MP Electric has developed a quality-oriented electrical contracting service in more than 20 years in the industry. Led by President Mark Perry, our electricians go through a 5-year apprenticeship program, are licensed by the state of Texas, and getting continuous education annually upon renewal. In great part, the success of MP Electric lies with its management and professional expertise of its employees. All of our employees share a dedication to quality and commitment to serving the needs of our customers. For new construction and remodels, parking lot, lighting and surge protection, landscape lights, security lights, troubleshooting and repairs. For industrial manufacturing, food and beverage, paper and publishing, heavy industry, cement and rock crushing plants, water distribution plants, and utilities. For 20 years, MP Electric has serviced industrial, commercial, and residential products. We do service right. MP Electric Inc. at 1890 Galaxy Road, Waco. MPElectricUSA.com.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Nitschke Group Insurance Agency. With the Nitschke Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Nitschke Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Nitschke Group at 1-800-258-8302.
It's time to be brutally honest with yourself. Look in the mirror or weigh yourself. Do you weigh as much, more, or less than you did before the holidays or a year ago? Why not start the year in better shape than how you ended it and create momentum for 2021 and help strip the negative vibes, tension, pressure, and extra pounds from the crazy of 2020? It's time right now to join Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness. It's so much more than a gym, including world-class tennis courts, lessons available with pros, fitness merchandise, tanning, massage, personal training to get you over the hump. I promise you'll look better and feel better than ever before. Just need to walk through the front door. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corp. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp, spacious, clean workout room, free weights, Cybex cardio equipment, and no intimidation, a tremendous camaraderie and family atmosphere. So make this your best and healthiest year ever. It's time to react today, not tomorrow. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozer's Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house.
We've gone from what is Walt Anderson to now O.J. Anderson, Super Bowl 25 most valuable player, two-time Super Bowl champion. The Giants beat the Bills, of course, in that memorable dodging the kick by Scott Norwood. And O.J. Anderson has joined us on SicEm365 Radio before, and he joins us yet again. O.J., does this week with the Super Bowl in Tampa mean anything?
Well, it doesn't really mean anything because we went there, we accomplished what we needed to do, so we feel pretty good about what we did. So it's all about memories now.
We had your teammate Leonard Marshall on the show yesterday, and I asked him this. I'm curious. His answer was really funny. I'm curious what yours is. What was your first impression of Bill Parcells?
Well, Bill has a way of coming across as some mean son of a biscuit eater, you know. And until you get to know him, you're like, oh my God, who am I playing for? But after a while, you kind of understand it. But at first, you go like, what the heck did I get myself into?
Why were those Giants teams so successful, OJ?
Because Bill Parcells was a son of a biscuit eater. Bill just had a way of motivating people and really getting a lot out of you. And being a great motivator, which you need to be a man in order to be successful in this league. And that's what he was able to do. He was able to really get guys to play above their ability or get them to do more than what they think they're capable of doing, going that extra yard, giving that extra effort. That's what Bill brought to the table.
5 of your NFL with St. Louis, you had well over 1,000 yards. In fact, 1,605 your opening rookie year in 1979. In 82, you had 587. If anyone knows, that was a strike year. Do you feel like something was taken away from you then?
Not really, because because I was on the road. 79,000 yards, 80,000 yards, 81,000 yards. So I was on my way, and not having to stay in rhythm, I say, was kind of unusual for everybody. But it gave you a year to rejuvenate and start over again.
OJ, what was the? Is there something to what you guys did to the Bills? Like, if they win that one, the Bills may never go back. But like, because they didn't, you kind of it created this whole kind of weird thing with them where they kept going back and losing.
Well, they say you're only good as the last game you played, and I tell a lot of Bill fans who kind of still pissed off at us. I say, hell, you had 3 other chances, so why you still mad at us?
Right?
Oh my God! Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
Hey, OJ, obviously winning the Super Bowl was a magnificent thing, and being able to do it twice. What did it mean to win the MVP?
Well, I did predict that I would win MVP in 79 coming out of the University of Miami, talking to my roommate Kenny Johnson. I was going to the Cardinals. They had just come from the playoffs. They had Don Ariel as their coach. So I thought I really was going to have a chance to, live out that prediction. But 12 years later, I was able to do it. So it still felt good. But, football is a team sport. If you want to get an eye, you go play golf or you go play tennis. Those sports you can play individually, take up karate, MMA, all those kind of crazy things if you're talking about an eye as far as what you can do. But just having that team, man, it's nothing like winning something with a team, having other men depend on other than yourself. That's a good feeling to win. And then to give an MVP even special because that means that everybody on that field, somebody saw me as the player who did a little more above not anyone else, but just did a little bit more. But just say that.
What was it like knowing that, Paul brought this up a couple of questions ago against the Bills, but what was it like knowing you had a game plan and you guys almost put it together perfectly once the opening kickoff?
Well, other than that tip ball by Perry Williams that was caught by James Lawson and Everson Walls caught him before he scored, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty perfect. We pretty much did everything we said we were going to do, keep the ball away from Jim Kelly, keep the offense on the sideline, keep our defense very rested. And it kind of looked like we did that. Now, the only thing that they did differently was they figured out in the fourth quarter, about maybe 6-7 minutes in the game, that if they run Thurman Thomas, they got a good chance of winning. So I'm just so glad that they had an ego offensive coordinator who just knew that K-gun was the way to win. So thank God for being hardball and sticking to your gun.
Nowadays, if a team loses their starting quarterback, it's all over. I mean, most of the time that you're not going to win. There's can't get through it. How did you guys? And obviously, it was because Jeff Hostetler was really good. But did you guys ever get phased when Phil Simms got hurt?
Well, Hostetler brought a lot of things to the table different. And Phil got hurt kind of. I think it was the 11th game of the season, maybe 12, something like that. And we had like 4, maybe 5 weeks to get used to what Hostetler does, but we knew about Jeff. Jeff did a lot of things on all special teams. I mean, everything you Bill asked him to do, he did and did very well. So we knew he was an athlete, and we knew he had a lot of ability. But playing behind Sims like we playing behind Joe Mars, until somebody get hurt, you're not going to know how good you really are. And we knew. And then me and Hoss, we had a great relationship because we ran all the scout team plays for the defense. So we transitioned perfectly together.
When you got in the league, it was a long time before you had your first turnover. What was the key to your ball security success?
I was scared of being unemployed. That's what Parcells told me.
That worked, right?
Yep.
It's interesting, OJ, because you were a workhorse throughout your career. I mentioned those first 6 years. And then you went through a stretch at the end of your time with the Cardinals, and then early on with the Giants where you became more of a role player. What happened in 1989 that allowed you to get back to being who you were early on in your career?
Well, when you don't play a lot, you don't get hit a lot, so the wear and tear of your body is totally different. And by me not playing much, 87 we had a strength. 88 I played short yard at the goal line. So you got 2 years ranked there. And then 86, I came there when you were 4-1, and I was back up to Joe. So I got basically 3 years of no wear and tear on my body, my legs. So being rejuvenated in 89, because Bill, that's when the first thing Bill said, well, I just want to know, can you do it? I know you're older now, and I just want to know. I said, well, just give me a chance, Bill. Just give me the ball. And, and being able to do that, just having the fact that I didn't have all that wear and tear on my body early on.
OJ, Craig, anything else for Otis Anderson?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the U and their current state? De'Aaron King had a pretty nice year last year at quarterback. He announced he's going to be coming back next season. What do you think of the Hurricanes?
Well, the Canes going to be okay. They're going to take care of themselves. That's one thing about our program. We're starting to get back to the U that we once remember. We're starting to get the players to come back to the university. So I think we're on our way up for something good. I hate that kid got hurt, in the bowl game, but that's the chance you take. But I think he's young and he'll rebound back and he'll be bigger, better, and stronger than ever.
I'm looking at something on your Twitter feed from just a little bit ago. Happy birthday, LT_56. Sure, this story is true. You guys are going at it. What story was LT trying to tell?
Let me ask you something. Lon, can you ever figure out what he's trying to tell you?
Good point.
No.
Exactly. So, welcome to my world.
Yeah. What was the thing he said on the sideline? A bunch of crazed dogs or whatever when he was getting fired up for a game. Is that right, OJ? It was like, we're like a bunch of rabid crazed dogs or something.
Well, he said that prior to me getting there. Yes, he did say something along those terms. I'm trying to figure out. I mean, he kind of used two phrases, crazy and wild and dog. So I'm trying to figure out which one was he trying to tell everybody he was.
Well, yeah, there he goes again, right? Yeah, trying to decipher what he's having to say. All right, OJ, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Congratulations on your career, the Super Bowl. Tampa, I know you won one of the two, but you won it twice, Super Bowl MVP against the Bills. We appreciate your time.
I appreciate everything, guys. And one thing I got to say, can you guys possibly tell me why I'm not in the Hall of Fame? That's all I want to know. Just look at my stats.
I was going to bring this up, and I'm glad because we had Leonard Marshall on yesterday and asked him because of his career as well. You had over 10,000 yards rushing. You had that great stretch of your first 6 years in the NFL, and again, the strike season kept you from having 6 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Then you had the 25 touchdowns late in your career in back-to-back years, 14 and 11. I can't answer your question. You were a workhorse. You had a ton of carries, a ton of yards. I'll ask. We have Hall of Fame writers who join us, and I'll ask a couple of them why not, and get back with you on that.
Appreciate it. And one other thing, a reporter told me the other day. He said, Jay, you got more yards than Earl Campbell and Terrell Davis. And I was like, oh, I knew I had more than Terrell. But that's all I got to say.
Very much. Otis O.J. Anderson, 2-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl 25 MVP, and that's the first of the 4. The Bills got worse every year, although they were a great team. They're one of the great teams that never won it all. Sometimes that happens. Some of the great college teams don't win the national title. The Bills went back 4 times, lost in the heartbreaker to the Giants. Washington, it didn't blow them out, but they were constantly in control of that game to win, and then the Cowboys hammered them 52-17, and then the 4th year up in Atlanta, they won it again. When we come back, Ira Kaufman is a writer for a longtime writer. He's retired now for the Tampa Tribune. He's a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. He was in Radio Row today, and I had a chance to catch up with him. The Bucks are at home.
We already ran Ira Kaufman.
I'm sorry, Ross Tucker. Yeah. Ross Tucker from Ross Tucker NFL. We had a chance to visit with him, and he was as interested about Waco, Texas, as talking about the Super Bowl and anything else. Did I just have an old man moment there?
Very much so.
When did you realize I was going down the wrong path there? How long did you guys go?
I was going to wait till you finished the sentence just so it didn't sound like we were, interrupting. God. So, but yeah, so I was going to wait. I was like, but you were saying that, and I thought, I kept waiting for you to be like, he said this earlier, and then I was like, no, he's teasing the segment that we were in.
We are going to announce some of the highlights of the 2020 All-Central Texas High School football team and a couple of other notes to get to in the 5 o'clock hour. But coming up next, former player, 2 years as a center for Tom Brady, Ross Tucker of Westwood One, CBS Sports, NFL Insider, next on SicEm365 Radio.
At Baylor University, students find their place to shine. They're faithful friends and inspirational leaders. They're championship teammates and independent thinkers. They're on the cutting edge of high tech and in the halls of history. If you want to make the world a brighter place, you can. And if you want to shine in your own way, you can. The spark you need is already inside you. Bring it to Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Bird Culture Ford has been in Waco since 1936. Ford, the #1 selling truck in Texas, 43 years running. And Bird Culture Ford proudly supports high school football in Central Texas. And no better way to tailgate with a Ford than from Bird Culture Ford. And are there better vehicles to tailgate with than the Ford F-150 or the Ford Expedition? And of course, you can get them new pre-owned Bird Culture Ford. Our sponsor of the Ford Tough Player of the Week, locally owned dealership. Online at bkford.com at 1701 West Loop 340 in Waco. Bird Culture Ford.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones Whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. Are you a SicEm365 super fan? Then try out our premium subscriptions at SicEm365.com.
Are you guys going to let me pitch to the wrong guy?
No, we're going to let you pitch to Ross Tucker.
Okay, Ross Tucker, 7-year veteran. 7-year NFL veteran, played 2 years with the Patriots, played with the Cowboys for a cup of coffee, Washington, a couple of other teams as well. But he's become a very reliable NFL analyst, columnist, podcast, broadcaster. He kind of does it all for talent. We had a chance to visit with Ross Tucker from Westwood One and CBS Sports.
But the biggest thing I tell people is in 18 years of playing football, right? So 6th grade through 7 years in the NFL, I never played with anyone, any quarterback that cared nearly as much about the quarterback center snap as Brady. I mean, he, like, every other quarterback, they're like, all right, you do it at the start of every practice, no big deal, quarterback center. I remember being in New England. I'm like 25, 26 at the time, my 5th and 6th years, maybe 26, 27. I started like 25 games. And this is like spring OTAs or training camp. Anytime he came in the huddle and I was at center, he would look at me and be like, all right, Ross, you and me, great snap first, great snap first. And I'd be like, yep, or I'd nod. Meanwhile, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, Tom, okay. Like, I'll have the best snap possible. But in his mind, guys, like that perfect sound it makes when the ball snaps and hits the top hand, right? In his world, that perfect snap allows him to get back from center just a millisecond earlier and see the defense a split second sooner and throw the ball a tiny bit earlier. I mean, that's just how he lives his life. I tell people all the time, like, he doesn't just do anything. He tries to get better at and perfect everything, even the snap from center.
What does it say about the Bucs and the team that they built that really, I mean, and I'm not taking away anything from the rookies or guys that they brought in, but that Tom Brady has come onto this team and taken it to the Super Bowl level as to what the front office had built around him before they even knew they were going to get him.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have talent. There's no way around it. They've got a decent amount of young talent, certainly at the skill positions, but most of the same guys were 7 and 9 last year. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, JPP was there, Shaq Barrett was there, Sue was there, Vita Vea was there, Devin White was there, Levante David was there. You know, on offense, Mike Evans and Godwin and Cam Brate. I mean, the only people that Brady, quote unquote, brought, right, would be, I guess, Fournette and Gronk and Antonio Brown. But I don't know, to be honest with you. I think they'd be here without any of those guys. They could have rode Ronald Jones, could have rode Cam Brate. Didn't really need Antonio Brown. So you're right. Jason Light, their GM, did a terrific job of having a pretty good roster ready for Brady. But this is the thing I said all offseason after they got him. He enables everyone to play better. And I don't know how much of it's conscious versus subconscious, but I can just tell you, having played for 5 teams, including the Cowboys, not too far from you guys, that when Brady's your quarterback, you know you're going to win the game. Like, you don't think or hope you're going to win the game. You know, and even obviously you don't win them all. But you know you're going to win the game. Like when I had Drew Bledsoe as a quarterback, we thought we'd win late 1-score game. We thought we'd win. I had some other quarterbacks that you're kind of hoping that this guy can pull it off. With Brady, you know you're going to win. I think it's a big reason, that sort of self-confidence, big reason why the Bucs were better and the Patriots were worse this year. Speaking of that, by the way, I got to ask you guys, give me the Waco breakdown in terms of Texans versus Cowboys versus other when it comes to fandom.
It's not even close. It's like 95-5 Cowboys.
Okay. Well, okay. So where, refresh my memory where Waco is located.
We're 90 miles from Dallas.
90 miles south of Dallas, about 80 miles north of Austin. And there is a military installation, Fort Hood, that post. So you're going to have some national fans of others, Steelers, Packers, Patriots, Chiefs, whatever, because of the constant change of where people live. For example, like I was a military brat, so no matter where I was born, that's not the means because I lived in Texas for a long time, I'm not a Cowboys fan, but that's what the breakdown. It's dominant, very dominant in favor of the Cowboys.
So that's really interesting. By the way, my mom was an Army brat, so I got that, and thank you to your family for their service. But I started the last 7 games in 2002 for the Cowboys at left guard, and then the next year Parcells cut me. I didn't realize Waco was that close. I would have taken a drive down. I love college campuses. I would have taken a drive down there in the offseason. I didn't realize you guys were that close.
Yeah, you come down. We'll take you to Magnolia. You can meet Chip and Joanna.
Chip and Joanna. We need to get you to a Baylor men's basketball game. They're number 2 in the country and unbeaten right now.
Oh, I know. I'm so impressed. I don't know. It's such a weird year in college basketball where like Gonzaga and Baylor are the clear best, and Duke and Kentucky and Kansas and all the normal one, Michigan State, they're not very good. It's crazy. But I followed you guys a decent amount when Matt Rule was down there. Yeah. Matt Rule is a friend of mine, and I knew him from Temple. I live outside of Philly, so I knew Matt Rule for a while, and so I was following you guys when he was down there.
What kind of an NFL coach do you think he's going to be eventually? He had a really – I know the record probably doesn't indicate the kind of strides they took on that team this year, but it really does look like he's a fit for the NFL and can do this for a long time.
Yeah, I think he's going to be awesome. They went really hard to get Matthew Stafford. I think they'll go even harder to try to get Deshaun Watson. They obviously need a quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater's not the guy, but I think he'll do very well. Look, they won more games this year than I thought they would. I mean, I on the Even Money betting podcast I have, I had the under on the season win total for Carolina. I thought they'd be terrible. I mean, they were starting so many rookies on defense. I did not think they would be very good. They were so competitive. I mean, they lost to the Chiefs like 33-31. I mean, they were right there.
Yeah, I've traded a text or two with him, and he said, we'll win when we are ready to win. We'll win when we learn how to win, because there was a couple of times, as you said, that they pushed a few people, and then they won a game late in the year. I forgot who it was, and he said, we'll win, and he even told his team, you have to win in December if you're going to ever be a playoff team, because that sets up the table. And so it's all a part as the process. Baylor fans initially hated that. 1-11, oh my God, shut up. And then, of course, he proved what he could do the next 2 years, and including that great year 2 years ago. Ross, you have myfrontpagestory.com. There's something that you're promoting as well. You have a podcast. Obviously, I mentioned CBS Sports, Westwood One. You're a part of many things. What is myfrontpagestory.com?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, first of all, please check me out on social media at Ross Tucker NFL, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Then you can see all the other stuff, including all the podcasts. But myfrontpagestory.com is actually a buddy of mine, started the business. It is legitimately, guys, the greatest Valentine's Day gift of all time. You talk to one of their professional writers while you're driving to go pick up some barbecue or driving to work or whatever. You tell them how great your significant other is, and then they write the most unbelievable story about her. It looks like it's on the cover of the newspaper, like it's framed. There's a picture of you and her, whatever pictures you give them, and then the stories around it. But here's the key, right? To be able to say to your wife, and I've done this, hey, babe, I want to do something special for you this year, so I had a story written about you. Like, that just sounds awesome. Your wife will be like, what? You had a story written about me? Yeah, I had a story written about you. And then when she actually reads it and she sees the quotes like, I never tell her enough how much I appreciate all the things she does for the family, she will cry. I'm just telling you, your wife will cry. I had told my buddy the motto of the company should be, she will cry, you will win. myfrontpagestory.com, myfrontpagestory.com.
See, Ross Tucker knows wins are important.
Yeah.
They don't come often. Yeah, they don't come often.
Happy wife, happy life. Look, I'm just telling you right now, my sister and I got one from my mom when she turned 70, and my mom reads the quote from my sister saying, I wouldn't be the woman I am today without her. My mom just started bawling. And you know what the beauty of this gift is? No joke. You go in my mom's front door, okay? It's hanging up right there. The story's hanging right there. So anytime we go to visit my mom, I just be like, see, I got that for you. Greatest gift ever. I'm your son. I love you. Like, the gift is timeless, and it's a constant reminder every time they look at it. It's not going to like go away in 2 weeks like flowers.
All right, Ross, before we've got to let you go, prediction for the game on Sunday. No Eric Fisher, kind of an advantage for the Bucs. Does that change their fortunes all to stop Patrick Mahomes?
Well, it's a good point, because I think the Chiefs are now worse at 3 spots, right? I mean, you move the right tackle to left tackle, the right guard to right tackle, you bring in a new right guard. They're worse at all 3 positions, and those guys don't have a lot of time practicing with each other. So you wonder a little bit about the communication, a little bit about the physical passing off of twists and stunts and double teams. That said, I just think if both teams play at the same level, I think the Chiefs are the better team, right? So they both play their A game, Chiefs win. They both play a B game, Chiefs win. I think the Bucs have to play an A game and hope the Chiefs play a B or a C game, C plus, whatever. I'll take the Chiefs 27-24. Would not put it past Brady to get number 7 and win at all. And frankly, guys, I'm rooting for him. Like, I was his teammate. So by the way, I came into the NFL 1 year after him. I'm very proud of my 7-year career, double the average. It's 13 years later. He's still playing. Yeah. It's crazy. I've convinced myself that every time he wins another one, it makes me like a tiny bit cooler because I was his teammate. So let's go, Brady. Make me a little tiny incy bits cooler.
Well, it's been great, Ross. Good stuff. Great insight on just the snap, the little things that lead, obviously, and what he's driven by. Thanks for your time. It's at Ross Tucker NFL. myfrontpagestory.com for Valentine's Day and so much more. Go to his Twitter feed. And, in fact, the pin tweet, if I was president, If I were president, Monday Night Football would start at 7 o'clock every single week. Ross, great catching up with you. Hopefully one day you'll make that visit to Waco, and we hope to see you when you do. Thanks for your time.
I would love that. See you guys.
Russ Tucker, CBS Sports, Westwood One, former NFL offensive lineman. This is SicEm365 Radio.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. And this football season, you need to stop by on game day for curbside pickup or stop by their tent next to SicEm365 at Brazos Parking for your pregame refreshment. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwest Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
Start the new year with a new Ram truck from Allen Samuels. Ram's impressive towing capability, heavy-duty payload capacity, and smooth ride have earned Ram the Motor Trend Truck of the Year yet again. That's 3 years in a row. Check out the new 2021 Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cab with up to $7,250 in total value. Or take advantage of 0% for 60 or 2.9% for 72 and get $3,000 in rebates. It's the Start Something New sales event at Allen Samuels, your friend in the car business. Shop now at AllenSamuelsDCJ.com. See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
When we moved to Texas, we were like fish out of water. We didn't know anyone in our neighborhood until our Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent came to the house. She was so helpful and reassuring, a friendly face with that Texan hospitality I'd heard about. When we purchased a Texas Farm Bureau insurance policy, we knew we were making the right choice. We knew our family would be protected.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation. Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Held the Rams to 2 for 8. Brady floats it. He's got Evans. What a throw.
The presenting sponsor of Super Bowl 55 coverage from Tampa, Florida on SicEm365 Radio is Marco's Pizza. Pizza for pizza lovers with locations in Woodway, China Spring, and Belmead.
Mahomes in trouble, able to unload it, and gets the completion at the 49 to Kelsey again.
Also brought to you by IdealMRI.com, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, Waco Custom Marketplace, Boozer's Jewelers, Stonewood
Live in Waco. In fact, Topgolf Live brings the Topgolf experience to iconic stadiums around the country. In February the 25th through the 28th, it will be at McLean Stadium. Create memories with friends, families, co-workers. That's coming up February the 25th through the 28th. Golf Live at McLean Stadium. Also available tours for private parties, corporate group events. To purchase tickets, visit topgolflive.com. Topgolflive.com. Premium packages available. Once again, purchase your tickets at topgolflive.com. That's going to be one heck of an experience. And Craig, they're building, right? Top Golf over just around the corner from where you live.
Yeah, they are over by the Central Texas Marketplace area. There's people may remember if they've driven by there a few times that, there's like typically a big field out there. Behind the Central Texas Marketplace, a bunch of farmland. And over the last few months, just slowly building up, there's already a storage business that looks like it's pretty close to completion and should be opening up pretty soon. There's a new gas station going in across the street there as well. There's also on that field not only that storage unit, but they're building a new movie theater and the new Top Golf. And the Top Golf's coming along because you can see like the big white columns that will be holding the nets and all of that. And that's been building up every day now. So, yeah, they're getting closer and closer by the day.
A little bit more before we get to the all-Central Texas high school football team and some of those who are honored with the superlatives, in other words, awards, honors, and then we will announce the first team across the board, and we kind of do it if we can uniquely. Super Bowl sports bets now, there's a chance it can reach well over $4 billion. In fact, estimated at $4.3 billion. The American Gaming Association estimates 7.2 million people have placed online wagers for the Super Bowl to generate $4.3 billion in bets. Meanwhile, a $3.4 million bet on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning via DraftKings. And before we go any further, Baylor men's basketball game with Kansas State has just been postponed.
Oh, really?
I got a tip from somebody. I reached out to Mac Rhodes and David Kay. Obviously, they're working on that because I just got that the game between Baylor and Kansas State has been postponed. That according to Baylor Athletics. In fact, 2 games. The Baylor game against TCU and the road game at Oklahoma next Wednesday. Now, here's the problem. They just played Texas and looked great. Now, you could get this, as you know, Paul. We're here, and Greg, but it makes you at least wonder. They have really been in a very good run when it comes to this. Mm-hmm. They've already kind of had their struggles. And they go play Texas, who had their struggles, and you wonder, did something happen while they were in Austin playing against Texas?
I mean, that's what I think. I mean, if I would guess, but I mean, it's so hard to, I'm sure there's some contact tracing that they can do, but golly.
So this is a Baylor issue for sure?
Well, I'm not sure. It just says the game against TCU. Yeah, I mean, this is coming from David Kay at Baylor Athletics. It says
because it's too different. It's not like Baylor has one game. Like if it was TCU or Oklahoma,
right?
Then we would be getting Oklahoma's next 2 games. Like if it's 2 Baylor games, you'd assume it's Baylor both times. I guess we could. Oklahoma, but I think it's probably Baylor.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out because you said K-State initially, and then you said TCU, but I got the email
TCU
from
and then Oklahoma. Yeah,
they've already played K-State twice.
Yeah,
right.
So the game Saturday against TCU and the game next Wednesday against Oklahoma have been postponed. The conference will try to work with the various schools to reschedule. So you've already packed back that West Virginia game, right? That's now a game where you play them twice back-to-back in a way, even with days in between. And now you have to push 2 more of these games back. And so Texas had their struggles. Shaka Smart was out. They lost some players that couldn't play against Oklahoma. They came back for the game Tuesday. It just, and vice versa. If it was the other way around, you would think that there's a possibility, even if somebody was cleared, that perhaps that's what happened. So here they are on this run. The only thing that can curtail them is to have this just shut them down.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is, it's weird about this is that, so Texas is rescheduled, TCU is rescheduled, but Oklahoma is not because they're running out of time at the end of the year to do that. So Oklahoma might not get in that second game against Baylor.
Yeah, they're running out of time. And that's why you sometimes may wonder, don't do the conference tournaments. I know there's money involved. Use that extra week.
This is why it's not going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah. This is why. I mean, I'm telling you, like, they can say all they want about the conference tournaments right now. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been a lot more confident before this announcement right here. I mean, now that you've got the upcoming 2 games postponed and like y'all are trying to figure out, like, who knows when those will actually be played. Yeah, it's going to be tough to pull off a conference tournament. I mean, and we all know the most important thing is not the conference tournament. It's the NCAA tournament. So if there's any part of you that feels like you're jeopardizing, a first-round game in the NCAA tournament by going and playing the Big 12 tournament, then I think you throw the Big 12 tournament to the wayside. And I know that's a money hit for the conference, but so a lot of things, have been money hits for you over the last year, and that's just kind of part of the deal right now. But, as great as it would be to see Baylor, win the regular season title and then turn around and go win the tournament title, which they very well could do, that'd be great. But I'd much rather watch them win a regular season title and be healthy going into the NCAA tournament and have a chance to win a national championship. That's a lot more that's worth a lot more than a Big 12 tournament title, and I think most people would agree on that, even if it's unfortunate that you don't get that opportunity.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because Baylor, of course, we know that the run they've been on, 9-0, 3-game lead, and now everybody nationally is picked up on it as well because Baylor's basketball, David K. Athletic Communications released it. It says the conference men's basketball interruption guidelines, according to head coach Scott Drew, announced on Thursday.
Well, and look, here's the other thing about it. You start getting into the point where, like the Oklahoma game may not get made up, and it won't need to be. Say Baylor is, up by 3 games with 2 left. Well, why would they reschedule anyway? What point does it do? Oh, it may help Oklahoma in the short run, but ultimately I don't think it's going to do anything. And they're like all eyes should be on the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
All eyes should be on that. Get that done. Get everybody healthy and into that.
I agree. All right, so Derek Tonkin, and we appreciate him along with many others. We released our all-Smoky Central Texas high school football team. Paul Catalina, Craig Smoak, Drake, J.D., Clay Whittington from the Killeen Daily Herald, Greg Willie from the TembelSports.com. We all put our votes in. It was great to get different views. Rodrell Freeman of Mart is the MVP. Now, a couple of things you normally have, which is, for example, you have the Offensive Player of the Year, Troy running back Zach Robochik. Defensive Player of the Year, Case Brister, the linebacker from Lampasas, had a monster year for them, and he was the district DP. Offensive Lineman of the Year, La Vega's Robert Allen. Defensive Lineman of the Year, young man named Corey Aper. Watch for him. He's 6'5", 215, had a huge year for them. Dawson Shrimp is the Kicker or Special Teams Player of the Year. Offensive Newcomers of the Year, Lorena wide receiver Jaden Porter, and also slot receiver and defensive back Trey Wisner of Connolly. Defensive Newcomer of the Year is Jordan Landrum. 9 interceptions, 17 passes batted down, and 3 defensive touchdowns. And Mark Fannin of Franklin is the Coach of the Year. Now, we also, and I've always done this, to me, that's what we could do, have a first team walk away. But I always kind of like to have some specialty type, like the Alpha Dog, Kavion Gaither of Connolly, Mr. Relentless, Jordan Rogers of La Vega. They're not going to be the MVPs because it's an impossible type of, how do you separate? So I made up 3 categories this year. Well, I've had these couple of them before. Most valuable player, we mentioned Freeman. Alpha Dog is Kavion Gaither. He's involved in everything. Mr. Relentless, Jordan Rogers from La Vega. And then Mr. Do-It-All all the time, Rook Brown. He didn't have a lot of great stats, anything he did. He just did everything for Salado. He did everything. I'm talking slot receiver, running back, played safety, sometimes even threw the ball, I think, a couple of times. District MVP, kick returns, punts, kicks, field goals, all of that for Salado. And then the straw that stirs the drink. You heard me, and you've heard me say this I say that a lot. Major Bowden, the quarterback at China Spring. Paul, Craig, you guys watched. We had that brilliant game when China Spring played Connolly. Abdallah is a fantastic player, but Major Bowden is what probably put them over the top and how special they were this year.
Absolutely. I mean, he really, but the combination of the two of them was very lethal, but Major Bowden was fantastic all year long, and he was just. He's one of those guys running the football that it doesn't look like he should be able to do it the way he does it because he's not very big. He's very quick, and he's kind of annoying if you're the defense. It's like, here this guy goes again, getting 11, 12 yards, getting 9 yards, getting 8 yards, 25 yards. Boom, there you go.
Yeah, China Spring, they were a running football team. It was either him or it was Abdallah for the most part, and we got to see a hefty dose of both of those guys in that crazy Connolly game that the Cadets ended up winning there at the very end at China Spring, but they were a very good team. I think, Major Bowden in, my top 5 for the just overall most valuable player, and then, offensive player, I had Abdallah up there, but I had Bowden in that category because, he made a major difference for that team and really was part of the keeping that engine going. So, I was very impressed by him and China Spring in general. And, going back to Rook Brown, I mean, he was a do-everything guy as well for Salado. I remember watching and just being, not even impressed really by any individual, but just going golly, they just do everything right. There's nobody that just stood out to you really, but he did, I guess, if anyone did. And it wasn't flashy. It wasn't anything but just fundamental good football and being able to play a lot of different positions. So, all the names that you mentioned could go over all of them, but definitely a couple of very worthy guys right there.
Six-man player of the year, Caden Johnson, the running back at Abbott, had nearly 3,000 yards rushing, 61 touchdowns. He also played defense. We had C.J. Lanehart on from Parkview Christian Academy, but Caden Johnson was stupid good in a positive way.
TDs.
Yeah, I know it's six-man football, but every week what I got from Coach Crawford was silly. And then Eli Cummings, who made the transfer from La Vega to Riker, is the private school player of the year. He was the running back. He returned kicks and punts. He also played safety and had a monster year in just a few games that he played because of COVID for Riker.
I think his future is at safety in college football because he will lay the wood. He just brings it.
Mark Fannin at Franklin won the Coach of the Year by 1 vote. It's his first year as a head coach. He replaced a legend, a Hall of Famer in Mike Hedrick. Remember we had him on, old coach.
Grizzly dude.
He takes him to the state championship, and they take Canadian to the wire. Unfortunately, a missed extra point was the difference in them winning possibly a state championship or going to overtime. He lost his first 2 games there and got blown out by Yo in week 2, and Yo was not very good. That's why there's a coaching change, and who knows, maybe Rick Rhodes is going to come back. That's just that's out there. We'll see. I gotta bring this up. For anyone that continues to speculate that Jeff Hume at Midway is in the finalist group at Cameron Yo, stop. I got a call about 2 weeks ago, and I know this is from people who I trust that kept telling me that Jeff Hume was going to go to Yo. I just picked up this after I got a couple more of them. I just picked up the phone and called Jeff. He goes, Smokey. And here's the thing. Yeah, Midway had a bad year. They're in a tough district. It may not get much better next year. Who knows? He's not leaving Midway this year, okay? And there is thought. Rick Rhodes, remember, retired at Gregory Portland. He told me by a text message that he wants to stay retired, but, man, he knows that Yo community. So that name obviously makes a lot of sense. But the same – they're telling me that Jeff Hume's going to leave Midway for 3A Yo. Stop. There has been a precedent with a few other coaches that have done that before, but maybe on a handful, maybe one hand. When you go from that level, nothing against 3A, 4A, whatever, but that's not going to happen. So what I did, instead of speculating, I just called Jeff Hume, and Jeff goes, are you kidding me? And every Midway next year here on SicEm365 Radio.
Wait, what was it you said?
Oh, have we ever said anything about that?
I don't think we did. I don't think we did. It's official now.
Well, we have next year, we will be broadcasting Connolly football, Shane Anderson, and we'll be covering broadcasting Midway. The first year of SicEm365 Radio, we didn't get a chance to do that. We have them back, and Midway reached out to us, asked me to sit down with them. We did, and that didn't take long for us to rejuvenate our broadcasting of Midway Panther football. Craig, you knew that, right?
Oh, I knew that. I just didn't know that the audience knew that, and you just casually mentioned it as though we had talked about it, but I don't think we had ever talked about it. So, yeah, when I got to Central Texas, the first program I started covering along with you guys was Midway, and got to know Terry Gamble, obviously, and then he eventually went off to Allen after a lot of success, and Jeff Hume was awesome and got to cover him for a couple years before the move was made. So really, really enjoyed covering Connolly and Shane Anderson last year. That was a lot of fun, but glad to have them and now Midway in the fold on SicEm365 Radio. I think that's going to be really awesome. Those are two of the top programs in the entire area, two of the best head coaches in the entire area, and two very talented programs who every year send guys off to Division I programs. So, it's going to be awesome to have Midway in the fold along with Connolly on SicEm365 Radio. And if you don't mind, I do have a little bit of a breaking Baylor men's basketball note that has nothing to do with the current team but does have to do with the future.
All right, Go ahead.
Baylor men's basketball just got a commit from 2022 shooting guard Dylan Hunter. He is a 4-star rated player, had offers from Auburn, Clemson, FSU, Georgia Tech, among some others. But, Dylan Hunter, 6'3", 170, class of 2022, 4-star guard from Ipsy Prep Academy has committed to the Baylor Bears.
Well, if he's not going to go to Florida State, I would love for him to play for Scott Drew.
Yeah.
I would love for anybody to play for Scott Drew. I want Scott Drew when he's done.
I don't think any other program in America outside of Tallahassee mentions Florida damn State more than this show does.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Everything reverts to Florida State.
We mentioned Nebraska, too, and Oklahoma.
I haven't mentioned them in 10 years, and I don't want to.
Not true at all.
They have the great class this year that they've signed. Mm-hmm. The 2021 class, right, that they have coming in for next year. So, and here they are, the number 2 ranked team in the country, although the next 2 games postponed. That's unfortunate. And, man, they've already battled through that. So I don't know if this means it was for the coach, contact tracing, multiple players. We don't know all of those details, but we'll try to get that to you as soon as we possibly can. But that sucks. You're coming off the win against Texas. Mm-hmm. They had struggled with it. Baylor had pretty much been through that before, but here they are again with a couple of games that have to be pushed back. And it doesn't mean somebody tested positive for COVID.
No.
Right?
No. I don't know how this works.
Somebody might have, but it could be as much as a contact tracing issue. Although if that was it, the person in contact tracing would be removed unless you have multiple.
Think about it. What if it's like a strength coach or somebody like that they're with all the time, or like a trainer or something like that's like taped your ankle. Then you're kind of like, okay, well,
yeah, man, that's just I'd kind of forgotten about COVID because so now Baylor has to make up 3 games in a span of a month. Less than a month. No, a month.
Well, I just had Kyle Albright on Twitter ask me, are these games actually going to be made up? Seems a little foolish to give them the Big 12 title regardless of how good they are if they don't play half their games, most against the best teams. I'm going to guess Kyle is probably not a Baylor fan the way he asked that question, but, he's a Texas Tech fan, so there you go.
Well, they're 3 games up, and they've beaten everybody so far, so if they make up 2 of them and don't make up 1, then you've only lost 1 game, and everybody's going to be able to not make up. I would think that most of the conference is going to have a game they won't be able to make up.
Most likely, yeah. And I don't know where he's actually getting the they won't play half their games, but I don't know. It's that Lubbock water maybe. I'm not quite sure. And not trying to dump on the guy, but seems a little foolish to get too far ahead of ourselves when we just learned this news 10 minutes ago, and we don't know whether they're going to be played or not. So I think we should let it play out before we, start to determine what's foolish or not.
I think Texas Tech being 4 games back and they've only played half of their games, to question a team that's 9-0 and they're played half of their games and look at them, hey, they've only played 9 games. Baylor, who knows how many each of these teams are going to play. And, of course, they have Texas Tech coming up here just around the corner.
Yeah, it's how it is now, though. Don't look at me, what I do, or my program, my thing. Look at the other guy. The other guy's the problem, not me.
That's the world. That's why nothing ever gets done, man. That's why I can't follow politics, because nothing ever gets done because it's simply people going, well, what did they do? Well, yeah, what about it's just whataboutism, and it's a biggest time waste, but people waste time on it for hours and hours every day. Look at what the other guy's doing, not at what we're doing.
Yeah.
All right, couple more things. Jake Weingartner also just put out what you mentioned, Craig. Top 30 junior Dylan Hunter. Nice pledge for Scott Drew early. Several top one on campus next fall. Baylor baseball is on a roll. When we come back, Mickey Spagnola was kind enough to move back a little bit on our show today because of all of what we had in our schedule. To let you know again tomorrow, Curly Culp, Warren Moon, DeMarcus Ware, Darryl Strawberry. Those are just some of the names we'll have tomorrow here from Super Bowl 55 in Tampa on Radio Row. This is SicEm365. Mickey Spagnola is next.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and 2-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The 5 o'clock hour is sponsored by Edward Jones Investments with financial advisor Brad Wilson. Investing is time and experience back to you and your money during today's changing times. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
We're back at Tampa Radio Row. We came here despite knowing we would not see Mickey Spagnola. We invited him.
Yeah, he told me via text that he thinks we're a little bit nuts for being here. But I'll tell you, Mickey, right now, this is the safest room possibly in America that the two of us could be in because there's only now 3 other people in this room.
I think we're probably as safe as AOC was.
So there's not a big crowd there is what you're telling me.
No, well, first of all, it's almost, of course, as you know, it's 6:24 Eastern, and so a lot of the stations have shut down, and it's very widespread, wide open. There's like 40 tables, 22 to 23 at the most have been used, including what we have, but we've been excited. We've had a great day yesterday, great day tomorrow. DeMarcus Ware tomorrow, Randy White, Charles Haley. So we've had some great guests, and now you as well. But, yeah, this has been different, no question about it.
So, Smokey, this isn't like, when was the last time we were there together? Was it 2001? The Super Bowl, I forgot what number that would be, the Baltimore Giants game after the 2000 season?
Yep, the 2000 Ravens.
And remember the cluster that we were in?
Yep, I remember.
And you were nice enough to let me stay in that motel room you found?
Motel, not hotel, not suite.
But it was a 2-level one, right? We had a balcony door.
Yeah,
Mickey, I would like a star rating so I can put it on motels.com.
Well, I'll tell you what. Since he allowed me to crash in their room that year, and there was a bunch of us in there, it was 4-star to me, even if it might have been a 2-star one.
Yeah, here's the thing. We're here. We're excited. We've had a good couple of days. We'll have a good show tomorrow as well. But bottom line is, I ask you this almost every year when we get to a Super Bowl week, what do the Chiefs and what do the Buccaneers have that the Cowboys need?
They need to be able to start their starting quarterback 16 games and at least 15 games. You know, I looked at the list of the 14 teams that qualified for the playoffs. 11 of them had their starting quarterback start at least 14 games. Tom Brady started all 16, and Mahomes could have if they didn't hold him out the last game. So we can just start right there. We seem to pass that over, that Dak Prescott only started 5 games and only finished 4. And that the Cowboys had to play 4 quarterbacks. How many teams out there, go to the playoffs starting 4 quarterbacks? You know, and the other teams that didn't start at least 14 games was the Saints, and they got by with Breeze only starting 11 games. The Bears with Trubisky, and that was their choice, right? Because they decided to go to Foles and then go back to Trubisky, who only started, I believe it was 9 games. And then Washington. And they had quarterback problems, and they got through it thanks to Alex Smith being there, who started only half the season. So, you know, when people ask me that question, it's like, well, all right. Number 1, get your starting quarterback out there. And number 2, don't have the defense that gave up the most points in franchise history.
Mickey, we had Charles Haley on earlier today. The Cowboys defense, he said this: I see a lot of guys who want to jump up and dance, not a whole lot of guys who want to make plays. Your thoughts on that quote?
Oh, I understand. And everybody wants to pick on 1 or 2 guys, right? But again, these were the same guys that finished 9th last year in total defense in 2019 and 11th against the run. Now, I know they lost 4 starters from that defense. But again, one of them Didn't have any interceptions, so everybody thought Byron Jones was expendable. One of them was Jeff Heath, who got blamed for everything. And don't they wish they had Jeff Heath at safety this year? And I understand Robert Quinn, and he made a lot of money going to the Bears doing very little. So again, we'll see if the change in defensive coordinators make a difference from 1 year to the next, because the change in defensive coordinators sure made a big difference from 2019 to 2020. And I think that's why you saw a change going to Dan Quinn now for the 2021 season. So, it's easy to look at 6-10, I think, at times and go, boy, these guys didn't care. They were really bad, and they got to start from scratch. Those first 5 games, they were averaging close to 30 points a game with Dak Prescott out there, and he was averaging nearly 400 yards passing a game. We kind of forget that. So the thing I always kind of caution folks is don't try to just put everything into a box and tie a bow on it to come up with reasons for whatever happened. Look inside the box and see the reasons why this ended up taking place.
Mickey, how much do you expect the Cowboys to be active this offseason in free agency?
I would think not very much if they got to spend a whole bunch of money to re-sign Dak Prescott.
Right.
And if the salary cap goes down, I mean, it was, 198 this last year? They're talking about it can't be any lower than 175. So if it goes down, I don't know where they're going to – now, they've got some money that they rolled over from this year knowing what they were up against next year. But I don't see them changing their ways and saying, we got to go out and buy this or we got to go out and buy that. And, again, as we see with quarterbacks and the salary cap, boy, once you divorce yourself from one, it costs a lot of money, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, and then it costs a lot of money to get another one. So again, I don't know that free agency is going to solve their problems. If money could buy health and you can get that offensive line back together again, then that's where you need to spend your money. Go find you some good doctors so you don't lose 3/5 of your offensive line. And one of the guys doesn't play all year. Your other Pro Bowler doesn't play but 4 games. And then you lose the glue to the line in Zach Martin, missing, 5 games? Yeah. There was reasons why this happened. I'm watching all this NFL stuff, and they're moaning about Kansas City not having 2 of their starting offensive linemen available for this game. And it's like, oh, seriously? Does that make a difference? So it only makes a difference when it happens to you, I guess.
Yeah, or happens over a long period of time, which, in Dallas this year, we've seen teams that have dealt with that, and it's just a bad, it's toxic for protecting your quarterback, running the ball, and all the other things combined. So you mentioned Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, and obviously La'el Collins, and that doesn't even include that Frederick decides to retire. Mickey, is there a concern that though Martin, I think, is fine. Collins, I don't know what. Whatever. I'm not sure exactly what happened with him. But Tyron Smith obviously is showing wear and tear. We know that this is a violent league. Is there any concern that any of those 3 may not play again?
Not if you talk to anybody connected with the Cowboys. Zach Martin will be back. It was a strained calf muscle. La'el Collins, they fixed the hip, supposedly, and guys have had those hip surgeries kind of clean up a labrum and come back and play just fine. I understand Tyron Smith is 30, but if they fixed his problem, then okay, let's go see. I saw a complaint about, he hadn't played, more than 14 games in the last 4 or 5 years. You know what? I'll take him missing 3 or 4 games to get the quality for 12 games. What I got to fix is I got to have a backup offensive swing tackle better than what they sent out there for the last 3 or 4 years. You can't keep nibbling at that position. You got to spend some money and find somebody. And if you're not going to spend some money, then go draft me an offensive tackle in the 3rd round that is ready to play. I can bring him along slowly. And if I need him for a game or 3, that he can go in there and hold up. But I think it's enough of these veteran offensive tackles they bring in that supposedly have been this, and this, but are no longer that to try to pick up the slack when you lose one of your starting offensive tackles. I mean, do you realize what they had at offensive tackle this year? An undrafted rookie at right tackle and an undrafted second-year guy who had only played 2 previous games in the National Football League. And I know everybody has injuries, but you got to have better depth. At least one guy that can come in that can actually play. And I think the quickest way to solve that is to go draft an offensive tackle. Now, you don't have to do it in the 1st round. I just can't imagine, with your limited resources that you can use another 1st-round draft choice on an offensive lineman. But 3rd, 4th round, give me a young guy that can come in and play. You saw what Tyler Biadasz was able to do as a late 4th-round pick. He basically won that starting job. So you can find one. You just got to go get one and cover your bases, knowing that at least one of your offensive tackles is struggling. And if you don't, and you need help at the tackle position, then it's time to move Zach Martin out there and say, Connor Williams, Connor McGovern, you're my starting guards. I got to protect my quarterback's blind side.
Well, Mickey, that leads into my next question for you. Rather than actually, Connor McGovern. I mean, if everybody's back, and you would assume Tyler Biadasz is probably the center, and if they bring Joe Looney back on a short-term deal, maybe they have a battle. But Tyler Biadasz looks like the starting center. Connor McGovern, has he warranted enough with his play this past season to maybe challenge for a guard spot with Connor Williams, or how do the Cowboys assess him?
Yeah, I think he eventually came on towards the end of the year, and I think what we forget about him is he didn't play all the 2019 season, right? His rookie season was a wash, and basically didn't get to practice. Most of the time he was on injured reserve. So I thought the last couple games he stepped up his game. But again, Connor Williams, if you look at some of the people that try to evaluate performances, was playing decently. So to me, you've got between Biadasz and those two guys, the two Connors, you're probably okay in the middle. And if you get Zach Martin back, great. And if something happens, don't dilly-dally around starting a rookie, undrafted free agent to start at right tackle. Just move Martin out there. But again, their problem was they didn't have enough depth inside ready to go. Now with Connor McGovern ready, then you could probably do that this year if you wanted to move Martin outside if something happened to either of your two starting offensive tackles. But, even though despite all that, early in the season, when they had at least Tyron Smith out there for a couple games, the offense was pretty darn good. It was the number one offense in the National Football League and still finished 12th. So offensively, I mean, there should be no excuses for them not coming back strong. You've got to fix the defense. You can't be giving up nearly 30 points a game and thinking you're going to come out with a winning record.
Mickey, you got one more question for you. Thanks for your time, and thanks for being a little bit later than normal. What were your thoughts about Matthew Stafford and the trade to the Rams?
Boy, it goes back to my comment I made earlier. When you sign these quarterbacks to long-term deals, they're yours. And if you try to, get out of the deal, it costs a lot. So, both sides took on significant salary cap hits for dead money and then had to pay the other guy's base salary, which was significant. So the Lions trading Stafford, and I know they got the 2 first-round picks and a third-rounder, but they inherited into their cap $42 million. Goff's base salary plus Stafford's dead money. And then the Rams, the same thing. They ended up with $20 million in dead money, and I think Stafford's base salary was another $20 million. And they gave up the draft choices. So when people say, well, just go sign Dak, give him the money, he deserves it. Yes, they want to give him the money, and yes, he deserves it, but within reason. Because once you sign these quarterbacks to these type of deals, go ask Houston right now what they think about that deal. And his extension hadn't even started yet. It's a very delicate situation. So you got to be right, and you got to get the numbers right. And that's one of the reasons why the Cowboys were holding out for a 5-year deal. Because I'm going to give you an example. When Deshaun Watson signed his 4-year extension, he still was in his 4th year of his rookie contract, and then this year would be his 5th-year option that they picked up at $10 million. So if you add what he made last year in his 4th year, the cap hit, and then this year's cap hit, to what everybody says was $40 million a year, well, now if you add that together to I think it was $175,000 over 4 years, to the other 2 years, if you divide it by 6, it comes out to $29 million a year. So if that's what Dak Prescott wants, market value, to me, that's what market value is. But unfortunately for the Cowboys, they didn't get this done soon enough where they could stuff some of the signing bonus, some of the guaranteed money into the 2 or 1 existing years that were already there. So I know that was probably a longer answer than you wanted, but that's the reality of these quarterback deals. They're not making what the extension is if you add on what they still were working under. Like, I think Watson's base salary for this past year was no more than $1 million or $2. So, again, they're extensions. I get it. But if you add the other years that the Cowboys don't have to add, it doesn't come out to $40 million a year.
Mickey, as always, thank you, buddy. Appreciate your time. Hope to see you down the road at one of these. It's been too long since the Cowboys have been here. It's been too long since Washington's been here. We had Mark Rippett on earlier, and so it's time. Giants and Eagles, right?
I was not allowed to drive a car without my parents the last time the Cowboys were here. I'm 40.
You're a man. You're 40.
It's a long time.
Mickey, thank you very much. Mickey Spagnola with us, DallasCowboys.com. When we come back, Paul's got his 5, not quite yet 5:55. Get back into this Baylor men's basketball issue. They had two games postponed. I reached out to somebody in Baylor Athletics, and I said, is there a chance at all that playing Texas Tuesday after what they were coming off of has anything to do with this? And he said, no, that's very doubtful. So that, again, that's something that absolutely is a legitimate question. He said, no, that is very doubtful.
Also, we need to give the full story on our detainment as potential agitators this morning.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we thought we were like going to be a story. Yeah, we got detained today inside the media headquarters. We'll tell that story. Our buddy Eric Horton, as we've told you at the start of the show, all of this, the product of Tyler Candles from the Tyler Candle Company, our good friend Eric Horton. For example, you've got the hand lotion, the votives, you've got the autoglams. It's the best part of this smell of anything, because normally Radio Row can be like a locker room. It can be a little bit foul. Obviously, the space is related to that, but we got our product again. We appreciate Eric. Great place, unbelievable, caring, giving person. This is SicEm365 Radio.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Fall in love with a new vehicle for less at Allen Samuels with incredible deals like a 2021 Jeep Cherokee Latitude Plus or Lux with $6,750 in values, or a 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo for $4,250 in values. There's a reason why Jeep has so many accolades. So come see for yourself and save at AllenSamuels.com. It's the Start Something New sales event at Allen Samuels, your friend in the car business. AllenSamuelsDCJ.com.
With more than 160,000 alumni worldwide and counting, the Baylor family is growing. And through the university's expanded Baylor alumni program, the family is growing closer. With hundreds of local volunteers planning events in cities and towns around the country, you can gather with fellow Bears no matter where you are. So, get connected, get something started, get involved, and make plans to get together with Baylor alumni. Visit us at baylor.edu/alumni.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
It's a new year. Time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Hi, this is David Smoak, including what you'll need to watch the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl. Ribs, sauces, links, brisket, chicken wings, bags of various snacks, and customized appetizer trays. Don't forget to order something now for the perfect home-cooked Valentine's Day dinner, which is closer than you think, including combo packs with ribeyes, fillets, and lobster tails. Live crawfish season is just around the corner. Absolutely the right time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Waco Custom Marketplace, your family meat market, butcher shop and bakery with everything baked fresh with old-fashioned farmers market atmosphere. Serving Waco restaurants and families since 1940. Your one-stop shop for beef, pork, poultry, and seafood needs. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, everyone. This is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like mortgage lending, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The SicEm365 Radio app is sponsored by Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
All right, here we go. It's 5:47 Central Time. Of course, it's a little interesting. The one thing about East Coast time is we're on 4 to 7 here. It's no different than what you hear when you normally hear it, but a little bit different is Radio Row today. We've been on along with maybe 2 or 3 other stations, one right behind us. And then WDAE is on nonstop. They don't ever go off.
And that's the station here,
right? In Tampa.
That our good buddy Jason Behringer works at. And best of luck to Jason. Jason's dealing with some stuff right now, but we love the Cobra. And anyway, but they're actually looking forward to seeing Jason again over at WDAE. I talked to them the other day. But Smokey, before we get into everything, we got to tell the story about what happened. We didn't get to tell the full story.
All right, let's try to do it in rapid fire. So we walk walk into the convention center where we were yesterday. This is where you walk into the convention center. You could almost park as close as I've ever parked to anything other than like driving up next to where I live. We walk in like we did yesterday. We were here all day yesterday. And as we went up, we set our stuff here at Radio Row where our setup is, where you can see it. And then we walked back down stairs to go across the street to meet Eric at the JW Marriott area. There's a JW Marriott West and all that stuff. So then all of a sudden we're kind of coming down the escalator and this guy just kind of shimmies up next to us. He looks like Roosevelt, who's Jerry Jones's bodyguard, but he could not handle Roosevelt. But he's got the dark suit, all that stuff on security, and then 3 other people come walking up behind him. They want to know who we are and what the hell we're planning. That's exactly what it was.
Craig, they said, are you planning, we heard you were planning some sort of operation. And my first thought was like, operation? Like, what are you talking about? And again, Craig, you know us. If the two of us are the ones who are going to be the insurrection, it's not going to go well. You know, it's gonna.
If we would have been the ones on January 6th, Trump would be president.
No, I don't think so. I think if we'd been the ones on, if something like that would have happened, we'd just been arguing you and I've been arguing all the way to the front. You don't go there.
Like twiddly D and twiddly dumb.
But yeah, I mean, that's so we didn't understand what was going on, and so he kept repeating questions to us, like, "What are you doing here?
What's your name? What's your outlet? What media?" Yeah,
just to see if we would mess up. And then it was interesting when the last thing he did was when he handed us our IDs back, he was like, "Thank you, Paul." Like I was going to go, "Huh, what?" Like maybe it wasn't my name. I was like, "Oh, you're welcome." And like they asked us, I mean, we've been here.
Pictures of our driver's license, took pictures of our credentials, which is a no-no, by the way.
Well, they can do it. They're the NFL. That's their thing. But yeah, it was bizarre. And then they came and we said, "Can we ask what this is about?" And they said, "Well, there was some sort of
they got word
kerfuffle or something."
I think it's obvious because there's another story tied to this, is that there had been some sort of a tip about a couple of people that were not maybe going to be kosher about going to get in the building, to a point where if you were at a hotel and you had a package arrive that was any kind of a box or whatever, the NFL confiscated the packages that were being delivered to the hotels in the neighborhood, like in this block, taking them to a different location and checking them. That's how tedious they were. And there were a lot more dogs, those beautiful dogs that are sniffing laptop bags, strollers, suitcases, anything.
So basically they have the most security ever for the least attended Super Bowl ever.
There you go.
It sounds like. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, no, I'm very confused by the entire thing. When they asked, like, what is this, like, what did they say? Like, what was the reasoning? Did they heard a couple guys were up to something? Like, that's all they said?
And why we were the ones pinpointed, I guess, is because we were one of the most recent people to walk in the building, go to the Radio Row.
I've been looking all day for 2 people that match our description. Like, if I've been like, oh, well, that's why. Like, but,
They said that they had gotten some sort of feedback to you. And again, some of this is important because, my God, we appreciate them. I said to the guy, hey, we appreciate you being as thorough as you are, but you got the wrong people. Someone apparently, there was a tip that there were a couple of people that were coming into the convention center to create a problem.
Yeah, I kept waiting, although like part of me kept waiting for like somebody we know to like pop out around the corner and be like, oh, we got him.
Yeah, I think it was because we're just a little internet company. I think that had something to do with it as well. But we got through that, and then I saw the guy a little bit later on, and he's doing his job. We're not complaining at all about security because, by God, you always want that. But it was a little bit interesting because we had been here yesterday, and I don't know if anything ever came out of it. I hope to God not. And I hope that if they did get a tip that they found out what might be going on. So that was that.
Yeah,
that was today.
Strange.
Yeah, it was. And again, as we said, we are in the safest possible location in America right now, as far as anything, not only security, but the fact that it's been the social distancing and all. What are you taking a picture of?
Well, Jack asked me to take a picture.
Of who?
Cool pictures of Radio Row.
Oh, okay.
And I told him I'd do the best.
Well, you ought to go straight up against like where Dave Stevens and his great story, and then WDAE. We'll go take pictures for Jack of all the various locations at Radio Row. Eric's here. Eric, by the way, can I share what you've done? You've asked me to go to Super Craig. I'm going to Super Bowl 55 with Eric.
Yeah, I heard that earlier.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Eric, unbelievable friend, invited me. He had 2 tickets show up. Think about this. There's going to be 22,000 plus people in this stadium that would probably seat 75 or so thousand. So 7,000 of those are going to be first responders, health, and all that. Then the other ones are going to be, some of it will be NFL, but not a lot of corporate. And then the Chiefs and the Buccaneers. And we're going to be a part of it. So I can imagine maybe they've calmed down now that people have kind of been here for a few days, but I would think Super Bowl tickets with only 1/3 of the stadium that can be filled, and 1/3 of that's going to be first responders, health workers, that the price of the tickets you would think would be explosively high.
Yeah, but I wonder what the demand actually would be for it. You know, like,
yeah,
I mean, how many people are really just, I mean, I would imagine, there's probably some Buccaneers fans. I mean, it's in Tampa, so maybe there will be a good scalpers market, but I wonder what the demand is like as well, because typically those scalpers are out in the streets, and there's dozens of them all throughout the week, especially the day of, and then there's thousands and thousands of people walking around the city at all times, typically wherever we've been. So I don't think that's going on right now out there. So I don't know what that market must be like this time.
Scalpers will be tough because it's all digital tickets.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
so like it's not like. So if I'm gonna back in the day, and I've scalped a ticket or two in my day. Well, I'm not scalping, like bought a ticket off a scalper, like walked outside and the guy's like, I got 2, and you're like, okay, yeah,
Remember
sure.
the one Craig found? The 2?
Yeah, exactly.
The 4. Was there 4?
Yeah, so he found those tickets, but now they're digital tickets, so I'm not going to walk up to a guy and saying, I have 2 tickets, like, oh, it's just on my phone. Be like, no, GTFO, buddy. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. All right. So meanwhile, I thought I saw some. We'll get to Paul's 5 and 5. The Super Bowl ticket prices. Last minute ticket agency Game Time said to get in, cheapest ticket are now under 5,000. They were 11,000 last week as things have settled down. On the 28th, some reached 73. And now those are somewhere in the 7,500 range. Now, as fans are starting to converge, which will be tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday, along with the team getting in town, maybe some things will go up. But as Craig mentioned, there's a lot of people that don't want to be here anyway, and so they're not going to get involved in gouging the prices to get to the point where they were probably close to $15,000 or so per ticket. Okay, Paul. All right. 5 at 5:55.
Our top 5 at 5:55 today is the top 5 Cowboys Super Bowl moments. And you and I and Eric went through this at lunch, so special thanks to Eric Horton. And this segment today brought to you by Tyler Candle Company. If you like other candles, we don't like you. No.
No, absolutely.
That's right. That's right.
That's a great line. That's a new slogan.
I can't see Eric's grin through the mask, so I don't know. But yeah. All right. Number 5, James Washington fumble return, TD, and Super Bowl 28, which we're actually right under that banner. It's right over here.
Yeah, I want to look at I want to look at this graphic because we helped you with this. We had to help you with this one.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
All right, at number 4, the Cowboys D stuffs Temple-owned Kenneth Davis at the 1-yard line in Super Bowl 27, and really that popped Buffalo's bubble, and they didn't even realize it. I mean, at that point.
Goal line stand, which is very big, and Buffalo gets stopped right at the Ken Norton. Was it Ken Norton?
Yeah.
And somebody else as well. Okay.
Yeah. Number 3, Butch Johnson's catch in Super Bowl 12, which I think for an era of Cowboys fans is probably their favorite moment.
It wasn't a catch. That should be taken out of the books. We've had Butch Johnson on the show. If Dez's catch against Green Bay was not a catch, Butch Johnson's catch against Denver, they should wipe it out. Denver probably goes on to get the momentum and win the game.
Yeah, well, it's a catch.
All
right, number 2, Bob Lilly's sack of Bob Greasy for, what, a 29?
29, I think 28 or 29-yard loss.
Yes,
Can you imagine
Super
that?
Bowl 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really took the wind out of the Dolphins' sails in that game. And number 1.
I just got in trouble.
The reason that this is number 1, is that...
Don't get booted out when you got only one day left, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody took his chin diaper off.
I'm staying in the same house with you. I had lunch with him. There's nobody else here. But
Yeah. Number one, and this is just because it was the last Super Bowl moment the Cowboys really had. Larry Brown's second interception of Neil O'Donnell in Super Bowl 30 locked it up, and really Neil O'Donnell could have been the MVP of that game for the Cowboys. But that's the last one, and that's why that's the first one. It may not be the best one of all of them, but it was the last one.
If Cowboys fans voted on the 5 Super Bowl victories, greatest plays, Larry Brown may not even be mentioned.
Maybe not.
Because it was.
But I picked it because
it's the last one.
It's the last one.
26 years?
Yes.
That was Super Bowl 30, 1995 season. 26 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Craig, what was it like to talk to the last quarterback to win a Redskins Super Bowl, and that was 30 years ago?
It was good. Mark Rippon was good. Yeah, I thought he had some interesting comments and interesting thoughts on the Redskins or Washington football team. I really hope they get a mascot soon so I can say whatever they're going to be, like the Sentinels or the whatever, instead of the Washington football team. It's a little bit wordy. But, I think it was cool to hear him reflect on his memories and get some thoughts as well in the current quarterback situation. He liked Dwayne Haskins, but obviously that situation wasn't working out, and I'm very excited to see what the team does as far as Taylor Heineke and Alex Smith and what they may potentially do in the draft. But overall I thought he was really good. All our guests today, Charles Haley was emotional as ever, but in a good way, and open as ever in a good way. So Morton Anderson too. I mean, they were all a lot of fun to talk to.
Hey, we got to get O.J. Anderson in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, well, we'll ask. Yeah. We need to ask Shireen, Rick Gosselin, who's better. He had dealt with COVID, and also John McClain. Curly Culp tomorrow. Sean King tomorrow. Grayson Grundhafer, Warren Moon, DeMarcus Ware, Darryl Strawberry. And it looks like the chance we ran into Bobby Taylor when we were having lunch today, former Longview great, Notre Dame, and, of course, with the Eagles and Seahawks. He was there along with
Takeo Spikes.
Takeo Spikes.
Yeah.
From Cincinnati. Go Auburn War Eagles, as Eric hunted him down. So that's it. And also thanks to our guests today, Charles Haley, Mark Rippon, Morton Anderson, O.J. Anderson, Mickey Spagnola, our release of the 2020 Central Texas High School football team, and thanks to Derek Tonkin for a lot of his work behind the scenes. Colt Barber, Brian Etheridge, Ashley Hodge, and the full meal deal back at our studios today. Armstrong Sims, Cole Andrews, Rob Solin, Jack McKenzie. Colt Barber was actually there, I think.
Yeah, the studio actually looks, it's been completely rearranged. So when you guys get back are you coming back on Monday? Are you going to be on the show on Monday?
I'm hoping to be back in the studio for the show on Monday, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, well, Paul will be. So, when you come back, it will look slightly different, but looks good.
I wish we would have gotten time to just get a camera shot on it while we were here. What
do you mean?
I just see Craig though. I mean, that's the only.
It's
the only camera.
It's the graphics.
Watch me in all my glory here on the screen.
Here's the thing.
Connor Carruthers. I'm going to forget Connor.
Yeah, by the way, if somebody came by and was just like looking at my computer while I wasn't here and during a break and it just kind of watched, they're like, is Paul like spying on this guy? Because it's the only shot that I get.
I know.
It's just Craig at the desk. So.
All right. Hope you've enjoyed what we had today. It's unfortunate about the news we had with Baylor men's basketball. Postponed game Saturday against TCU, next Wednesday against Oklahoma. So now they'll try to figure out how to make that up. And I don't know if that means they'll play against Texas Tech a week from Saturday, which would be unfortunate as well. Any of those games will be good to see what they can do as they go 17-0 after the win on Tuesday. All right, again, thanks for our great friend Eric Horton from Tyler Candle Company from the NFL Radio Media Headquarters. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of the journey of what is SicEm365 Radio. I'm David Smoak. Good night from Tampa, Florida, and Waco, Texas. Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com.
U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. And this football season, you need to stop by on game day for curbside pickup or stop by their tent next to SicEm365 at Brazos Parking for your pregame refreshment. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.